Chapter 1427. This Bai Te Song is a madman. He has no qualms about fighting us now, the Nanhua Lord of Heaven said angrily. He has the origin battle armor. We can't break through his defense. He can kill us as he pleases, and we can only take a beating, the fierce Tiger Lord of Heaven said. That's right. We have to think of a countermeasure. He is forcing us to submit to him. He wants to unify the Shenwu Great World. If we don't submit, he will keep tormenting us, the Three Sons Lord of Heaven said. I went to the Shenwu Fighting Heaven and saw the divine martial origin. The origin battle armor was obtained from Bai Te Song Shenwu Fighting Heaven. I begged the divine martial origin to take it back, but it won't, the divine Tiger Lord of Heaven said. The divine martial Heavenly Lord of Heaven then told everyone about seeing the divine martial origin. When Bai Te Song went to the Shenwu Fighting Heaven, he passed the requirements set by the divine martial origin. In addition, Bai Te Song's state of mind was good, so he was given the origin battle armor. According to the divine martial origin, since it gave Bai Te Song the heaven-piercing armor, he had to bear the consequences. No matter how much damage it would cause to the Shenwu Great World, he had to bear the consequences. He had to swallow the bitter fruit that he had sowed. This was the Shenwu Great World's tribulation. It was also fate. Then what should we do? We have no way of restraining him now, the Tsangling sovereign said angrily. Everyone fell into deep thought. With the heaven-piercing armor, Bai Te Song was invincible. They could hide for a while, but they couldn't hide forever. Fight. No one could beat Bai Te Song with his invincible defense. The heaven-piercing armor was the origin battle armor. Although Night Sorrow always wore it, it had self-recovery abilities. It recovered in a short time. We can't beat him, but someone can. Night Sorrow, the Tsangling sovereign said. Night Sorrow? How can we invite Night Sorrow? We were the ones who started the realm war against the reincarnation great world, said the Three Sons Heavenly Monarch. We have to pay the price. Otherwise, we'll never have a day of peace. Not to mention whether or not the forces under our command can be preserved, we'll be in danger of dying ourselves, the Lord of Flame said. His avatar had perished this time. Please. Lord of Heaven Shenhu said. But the question was, who was going to treat him? After that, everyone discussed and decided to invite the Three Sons Heavenly Monarch while the other clans would pay the price. When the Three Sons Heaven Monarch reached the reincarnation realm, he first went to Reincarnation City to see the Qing Emperor and told him the reason for his visit. Qing Emperor didn't want to get involved in this kind of thing, but Night Sorrow had to make the decision himself. After that, the Qing Emperor sent Qing Luan to Sky City to look for Night Sorrow. However, she received news that Night Sorrow had already gone to the White Tiger constellation. When the Three Sons Heavenly Monarch, who was drinking tea with the Qing Emperor, heard this, he was stunned. Without Night Sorrow around, this matter couldn't be resolved. I won't hide it from you, Three Sons Heavenly Monarch. When I was fighting with the celestial sex puppets, I was poisoned. Only the blood of the White Tiger can cure the poison. Night Sorrow has placed great importance on this matter. Therefore, after the realm war is resolved, he might go and deal with this matter. The Qing Emperor said. He wasn't sure if Night Sorrow had gone to the White Tiger constellation, but he still felt emotional. His disciple really didn't want him to be tortured. When Commander Night Sorrow returns, let us know. We'll discuss how to resolve this matter, the Three Sons Heavenly Monarch said helplessly. Okay, I'll pass on the message when he returns. You guys still have to be careful. Bai Te Song is an extremely vicious person, the Qing Emperor said. Okay, you guys be careful too. He's crazy now. After we hide, he might take revenge on you guys. The Three Sons Heavenly Monarch stood up, but he also reminded the Qing Emperor. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation Chapter End. After sending the Three Sons Heavenly Monarch away, the Qing Emperor fell into deep thought. Shangjuan, we really have to be careful. It's hard to predict what a crazy person will do. Misty rain came out. She had heard the three sons' heavenly monarch and the Qing emperor's conversation. However, she hadn't come out because of the paralysis between men. He shouldn't do anything for now because he's afraid of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow is his nemesis, but she's also a hidden danger, the Qing emperor said. This child Night Sorrow, I thought he'd be able to rest for a while. Shueshi and Up Luo just had a child, and he ran off to the White Tiger territory. It seems that people with bodies of virtue truly don't allow themselves to have any flaws. They don't even want to feel guilty, Misty Rain said. Wait for Night Sorrow to return and have him deal with this matter. Since only Night Sorrow can resolve this matter, then this matter is closely related to him. Perhaps it's fated, the Qing emperor said. After hearing this news, the Qing emperor's doppelganger stood guard near the teleportation array. This was because if Bai Te Song appeared, he would know. Inside a tea house in the black-yellow Great World, Tang Yi and Hai Ling were drinking tea and chatting. The two of them hadn't interacted with each other before, but at Night Sorrow's wedding, the two of them chatted quite well and became friends. Have you heard? The realm war between the Samsara Great World and the Shenwu Great World was won by Night Sorrow leading the Samsara Great World's allied forces, Hai Ling said. In a situation where he could only defend, switching from defense to offense is very difficult to win. The Samsara Great Masters are very good at judging people. Giving him command should be the clearest decision. Tang Yi nodded. She was the daughter of a great family, so she naturally was more well-informed. I've seen him fight before at the Heaven and Earth Pavilion. He's called the strongest monarch. Although it's a bit exaggerated, I believe it. He defeated a great master with unparalleled defense. This is indeed hard to believe, Hai Ling said. At the Heaven and Earth Pavilion, she and Night Sorrow had fought together. She knew a bit about Night Sorrow, but she never imagined that Night Sorrow could turn the tide and lead the realm war. My father said that this kind of cultivator is the most powerful. His cultivation is on par with a great master, but his deterrence is much more terrifying, Tang Yi said. That's natural. Great masters have strong combat power, but they've reached a bottleneck. There's little room for improvement. It's as difficult as ascending the heavens to increase one's combat power. However, Night Sorrow isn't like that. He's a monarch and has the combat power of a great master. There's a lot of room for improvement. Who wouldn't be afraid of such a cultivator? Hai Ling said while drinking tea. Hai Ling and Tang Yi weren't the only ones talking about this. Many forces were talking about this matter. They all knew about the name Night Sorrow. At this moment, Night Sorrow was flying in the White Tiger constellation. After 7 days, he didn't see a single white tiger. This made Night Sorrow understand that the White Tiger race was strong, but they were few in number. At night, Night Sorrow set up camp to rest. Although obtaining the White Tiger blood was extremely important to him, he wasn't in a hurry. Since he was already in the White Tiger constellation, as long as he was alive, he would definitely obtain the White Tiger blood. A month later, Night Sorrow saw a white tiger. However, its level was relatively low, so he didn't attack. What he needed was the blood of a monarch-ranked white tiger. King-ranked white tiger blood was meaningless. It might be a good material for refining pills, but Night Sorrow wouldn't kill just because of this. Speak. The third watch has arrived. Chapter 1428. Following his progress on the path of cultivation, Night Sorrow's view of the world continuously changed. Everyone wanted opportunities, but opportunities could not be established on so-called slaughter. Coming to the White Tiger territory this time, Night Sorrow did not think of slaughter. He only pursued the White Tiger blood, nothing more. As long as he obtained monarch-level White Tiger blood, he would turn around and leave, let alone go slaughter some white tigers that had not yet matured. The little sky inside the Divine Sea was still integrating the heavenly artifact and was unable to communicate with Night Sorrow, but Night Sorrow could sense the changes in the Clear Sky Divine Pagoda. This year had passed, and the Clear Sky Divine Pagoda's restoration had made progress. Night Sorrow did not go refine the soul-raising liquid because refining the soul-raising liquid required a lot of time. Using Datura's refining time, he would need several decades. Rather than wasting time refining now, it was better to wait for the clear sky divine pagoda's restoration to complete, and then enter to speed up his cultivation. There was no fear in his heart, but Knight Sorrow's heart held reverence. The forbidden land of countless years definitely had a reason. Here, the king truly had no possibility of battle if he entered. His supreme attribute had been suppressed by 30% of his strength. If others entered, they would be even more unbearable. Perhaps they would be meat on the chopping block. Cultivators required resources and opportunities, but this also depended on the situation. No one would risk their life if they were not certain. Entering the king realm, they already had an unlimited lifespan. The majority of cultivators had stabilized, relying on the accumulation of time to have accomplishments. Because the aura of slaughter here was relatively heavy, Knight Sorrow did not drink wine. When he was thirsty, he drank tea. Drinking heart-cleansing tea, he purified himself from the effects. Knight Sorrow brought the concentric crystal, but it could not be used. Originally, it was not a problem so far away in the Ice Dragon territory, but in the White Tiger constellation, it was not possible. The world's origin was too berserk, and the suppression was powerful. For this matter, Datura went to the Heaven's Ceiling main hall to find Knight Sorrow's doppelganger once. Because they had agreed at that time, they would often come to the White Tiger territory, but regardless of how she shook the concentric crystal, there was no response. She was worried. Knight Sorrow's doppelganger explained the situation to Datura. Only then did Datura feel relieved. Knight Sorrow continued to advance every day. However, he discovered another problem. The killing intent in this place stimulated his battle intent, causing it to rise. Battle intent was an auxiliary ability. Although it couldn't directly kill the enemy, it could increase one's strength and suppress the opponent's aura. It could even be said that if the opponent was weak, they might even lose the will to fight. With this sort of cultivation opportunity, Knight Sorrow naturally would not give up. Regardless of whether they rested or advanced, they released their fighting intent, contending against the White Tiger territory's killing intent. As for what Datura told him, the Shenwu Great World was in chaos. Knight Sorrow was also helpless. He had his own matters to attend to now. He could not give up halfway and go back now. Knight Sorrow advanced and avoided the White Tiger twice, intruding into the White Tiger's territory. However, it was only a high-grade king White Tiger. He had no interest, nor did he want to fight. Knight Sorrow did not place a high-grade king-level White Tiger in his eyes, but that was one of the reasons why the White Tiger constellation was a forbidden area. When the heaven-supporting tycoons entered, because their perfect willpower would be sensed by the native divine beast, the White Tiger King, no one would enter. When a monarch entered, facing a high-grade king White Tiger, it was very difficult to defeat. Their own cultivation was suppressed, and facing this White Tiger with the ability to fight above their level, they were very easy to kill. Knight Sorrow's spiritual strength was relatively strong. He first probed the White Tiger, and when he discovered it was not his target, he would avoid it. As he advanced, he cultivated his fighting spirit. Knight Sorrow's speed was slower. In the blink of an eye, half a year had passed. In this half a year, Knight Sorrow's fighting spirit had increased significantly. He had seen many king-level White Tigers. Some lived in groups, and some occupied territories alone. Knight Sorrow reached a towering peak that day and planned to advance later. The killing aura on this towering peak was even stronger, and it was suitable for cultivating his fighting spirit. Knight Sorrow started cultivating, but the Shenwu Great World was really in chaos. Bai Te Song was crazily killing. He could not find a heaven-supporting tycoon, so he had no limits. He even killed a monarch. The Shenwu Great World was in chaos because of him. However, no one could restrain him. The Lord of Heaven Three Sons came to the Samsara Great World several times to ask about Knight Sorrow, but to no avail. He was really anxious now because the Shenwu Great World could not hold on any longer. No one could compete with Bai Te Song. Of course, Bai Te Song would go crazy. The forces of the Shenwu Great World were all in a state of avoidance. The tycoons and higher-ups were all hiding to avoid fighting. Night Sorrow was not here. The Lord of Heaven, 3 sons and the others went to the Xuanhuan Great World to ask Tang Jianfang and the Wuling Mountain Master. Tang Jianfang and the Wuling Mountain Master were indeed powerful, but if Bai Taiching didn't defend himself, Tang Jianfang and the Wuling Mountain Master couldn't break through his defense. If they couldn't break through his defense, then there was no winning. Bai Taisong was not a fool. He would run away as soon as he consumed too much energy. He was fast and did not care about attacks. Others could not do the same. If they had scruples, then no one could do anything to him. Tang Jianfang and the Wuling Mountain Master retreated because they could not take him down. This was an unchangeable result. To avoid Bai Taisong's revenge, the Xuanhuan Great World closed the teleportation formation. The Qing Emperor was also considering whether to close the teleportation formation. Misty Rain suggested that it was not necessary because Bai Taisong was afraid of Night Sorrow and would not come easily. The Qing Emperor nodded. If Bai Taisong really dared to come to the world of Samsara, he would go to the 9 regions world and ask Night Sorrow to come back. If they closed the teleportation formation, then they were afraid. Neither cultivators nor the world of Samsara should have this mentality. To solve the problem, the Lord of Heaven, 3 sons even stayed in the world of Samsara, waiting for news. He was worried because he could not find a solution other than to ask Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow stayed on the towering peak to cultivate his fighting spirit. He could still deduce the will, but it was slower than in the Samsara Palace. This cultivation lasted for 2 years. During these 2 years, Night Sorrow's battle intent had increased by a lot. Cultivating under high pressure allowed him to improve very quickly. Genuine, but he stopped cultivating because he had more important things to do. He could come back again if he wanted to cultivate his fighting spirit. Night Sorrow felt this place was not bad. He set up a teleportation formation here. When he came back to the White Tiger constellation to cultivate in the future, he could set up a corresponding teleportation formation and be teleported here. Night Sorrow started to move forward. As he went deeper and deeper, Night Sorrow saw more and more white tigers. He even saw a monarch-level white tiger. But he did not move. The monarch-level white tiger was already the leader and ruled over many white tigers. Night Sorrow did not want to be surrounded and beaten, so he went around and continued to move forward. He wanted to find a monarch-level white tiger that was alone. He had been in the White Tiger constellation for a long time and had met many white tigers. Night Sorrow did not make a move. He wanted to succeed in one strike. Night Sorrow knew some things. Some sects with extraordinary talents had unimaginable abilities. For example, when he went to the Ice Dragon realm, Tang Bo killed an ice dragon. Night Sorrow felt that the white tigers had the same abilities as the ice dragon, or even better. Because the white tigers were divine beasts. Speak. The 4th update has arrived. Today's update is complete. Chapter 1429. Kai Tong Xiao Gao / unsealed. As they advanced, Night Sorrow also set up a few low-level teleportation formations in specific areas for safety reasons. If one did not consider the future, one would have immediate worries. Using low-level teleportation crystals in exchange for a guarantee of safety was very worth it. A few months ago, Yi Shang had another harvest. He had discovered a lode, and while excavating the lode, he had also obtained the Holy Spirit liquid. The Holy Spirit liquid was a treasure that contained much more energy than the Holy Spirit stones. Yi Shang had obtained it once before, and the Holy Spirit liquid had contributed greatly to his cultivation being able to keep up with his realm. After collecting the resources, Night Sorrow continued forward. Hard work paid off. Night Sorrow finally met a lone monarch rank white tiger. Night Sorrow knew that this was a white tiger that had been banished. Night Sorrow could tell that this white tiger had just reached the monarch rank and its aura had not stabilized yet. The living habits of white tigers were not very regular. Some couples lived together, some couples lived with their cubs who had not reached adulthood, and some lived in large groups of family members. However, there was one rule that was accurate. Monarch rank white tigers had to be independent and live their own lives. They could even form and develop their own families. The white tiger in front of him did not have a mate and had just reached the king rank. This was the opportunity that Night Sorrow wanted. Night Sorrow flashed and stood in front of the white tiger. A monarch rank white tiger was very majestic. It was more than 6 meters tall and about 10 meters long. It had a very strong murderous aura. When it moved, it brought about gusts of wind. Tigers followed the wind and dragons followed the clouds. The white tiger had its own wind ability. Human. You dare to come to my white tiger constellation? The white tiger lifted its huge head and stared at Night Sorrow with its bell-like eyes. I'm sorry to disturb you, but I have to come. I don't want to fight. I just want you to help me. I'm willing to exchange resources. Night Sorrow said. If he could avoid a fight, Night Sorrow really didn't want to fight. A little blood essence was nothing to the white tiger. For you to come to the white tiger territory is to despise my white tiger clan. Business is off the table. If you can kill this one, then your goal will be achieved. This one will kill you, and then your things will be this one's. This white tiger let out a muffled sound. Simple, violent, murderous, and difficult to communicate with. This was the white tiger. I'm standing in front of you, and I'm not afraid of a fight. I just feel that if there's something that can be solved without a fight, it's better not to fight, Night Sorrow said. He was prepared to fight when he came out. Let's fight. There will be a result after the battle. The white tiger leaped into the air and slapped out with a tiger claw. The attack carried a murderous aura, a very strong murderous aura. Night Sorrow's right hand didn't move, but his left hand directly struck out with Hadouken. Following an explosion, Night Sorrow's body was knocked back by the white tiger's claw. However, the white tiger was also sent flying by this punch. In a head-on clash, even if the white tiger was a divine beast, in a head-on clash of bodies, it did not occupy the upper hand. I truly don't want to injure you. I only want a bit of white tiger blood. You can ask for resources, but don't force me to kill. After he punched, Night Sorrow waved samsara in his right hand. Is a human's body this strong? Less nonsense. Let's fight. If you can kill this one, then the white tiger's blood essence naturally won't be a problem. The white tiger growled, and a green and red light appeared on its body. Then, it once again pounced towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow waved samsara, launching a space-spinning dragon kill. Since he was going to fight, he had to have a plan. He could not directly use his trump card. Bang! Another explosion rang out as the massive white tiger was knocked back by Night Sorrow. However, Night Sorrow's incomparably sharp samsara only managed to disperse the energy on the white tiger's claws. It was unable to injure the white tiger. Powerful. This was the power of a divine beast. Night Sorrow's will of time and space protected his body. He caught up to the white tiger and attacked. The energy on the white tiger's body revolved, and its speed increased rapidly. Its two front claws continuously struck out, and they were all energy waves with strong killing intent. Its tail and two hind legs were no different from divine weapons. As it waved them, the energy waves slashed towards Night Sorrow. After the human and beast finished fighting in the air, they continued to fight on the ground. The space shattered, and grass and gravel flew everywhere. I didn't want to hurt you, but I have no choice. Night Sorrow growled. He waved samsara in his hand and used Emperor Samsara Slash. As the purple halo rippled, it enveloped the white tiger's head. Night Sorrow's samsara also pierced the white tiger's neck. However, the white tiger woke up at this moment. It slammed its claw towards Night Sorrow. It was not that Night Sorrow's Emperor Samsara Slash was not powerful enough. It was that Night Sorrow's strength was suppressed. In addition to the white tiger's extraordinary talent, the effect was not ideal. Night Sorrow punched the white tiger's claw with his left hand. Following an explosion, Night Sorrow was sent flying. As Night Sorrow was sent flying, Samsara was pulled out from the white tiger's body. At the same time, blood spurted out from the white tiger's wound. Night Sorrow rushed forward again. Then, he flew diagonally. With a wave of his left hand, he wrapped the white tiger's blood with energy. Then, he quickly retreated. As he dodged the white tiger's attack, he took out a jade bottle with his left hand and collected the white tiger's blood. One bottle was not enough. Night Sorrow filled 3 bottles. Look at the chapters on the B version ***, damn it. I'm going to kill you today. When the white tiger saw that Night Sorrow had collected its blood, it was furious. Its body flashed and several figures appeared. They were all energy clones. Then, the energy clones merged and pounced towards Night Sorrow. Western White Tiger Kill. The white tiger was enraged. It used its innate skill. The combined energy clones not only increased the attack power, but also caused the spacetime to change. There was also a suppression of the soul. Night Sorrow's 9 regions origins in his spiritual sea vibrated and blocked the soul attack. Then, the will of spacetime protected his body. The spacetime shattered and the ground collapsed. The white tiger's tyrannical attack turned the place where Night Sorrow was standing into a huge crater. After retreating, Night Sorrow continued to advance rapidly. Then, he used the Void Extreme Kill. Following the explosion of a purple halo, one of the white tiger's giant claws was annihilated. Samsara pierced through the white tiger's claw and stabbed into the white tiger's chest. When Night Sorrow was forced back by the white tiger's other claw, another drop of blood floated out. Night Sorrow once again collected it. The monarch rank white tiger's blood was a treasure. Night Sorrow collected its own blood a second time. This made the white tiger incomparably furious. It roared at the sky, and when it roared, the fur on its head emitted light. This was a request for help. Night Sorrow understood that this was a request for help from within the pack. Not fighting, Night Sorrow flashed away. Obtaining the white tiger's blood, his goal was achieved. He himself did not have any plans to kill the white tiger. At this time, inside a huge canyon in the white tiger territory, a giant white tiger raised its head. Speak. First watch. Chapter 1430. Kai Tong Shao Gao / unsealed standing up, the giant white tiger's body flashed and disappeared into the void. At this moment, Night Sorrow retreated in a flash, and the injured white tiger started to chase after him. Nejing version Night Sorrow was very fast, but so was the white tiger. Speed was its talent. Flying at full speed, they covered hundreds of miles in an instant. Night Sorrow couldn't shake off the white tiger, and the white tiger couldn't catch up with Night Sorrow. The white tiger was injured, but it was all external injuries. It had a unique advantage in the white tiger constellation. Besides, Night Sorrow was suppressed by the world's origin, so he couldn't shake it off. Night Sorrow held the teleportation array disc in his hand. It wouldn't work now, but the distance was still a little far. Once the distance was enough, he could teleport directly. Yishang and the white tiger flew at top speed. 2 hours later, Yishang stopped because he was stopped by a white tiger that had rushed over. It was a giant white tiger. Night Sorrow looked at the white tiger blocking his way and knew that he had met his match. He had met the overlord of the white tiger constellation, the giant white tiger king. Seeing Night Sorrow stop, the giant white tiger flashed and turned into a tall middle-aged man wearing a white battle robe. The white tiger chasing after Yishang had also transformed into a young man. The young man didn't attack, but the middle-aged white tiger king bowed. Huya, you can't even take down a human monarch. The white tiger king looked at Huya, who had blood stains on his hand. Your Majesty, he's very slippery. He won't fight with Huya directly. Your Majesty is here. Please don't let him escape. Huya wants to have a real battle with him. Huya bowed and said to the white tiger king. While the white tiger king and Huya were talking, another monarch-ranked white tiger came. They had all received Huya's request for help. It seems that a big battle is unavoidable today. White Tiger King, you should attack. He's not my match. Night Sorrow said. He wanted to leave after taking the White Tiger blood, but he had to fight now. He's no match for you. But he's still alive, with only minor injuries. The White Tiger King's golden eyebrows twitched. If I want him to die, he won't live. I came to the White Tiger constellation not to kill, but to beg for some White Tiger blood. I even said that I was willing to give him resources, but he refused. I've already left, but he still chased after me, Night Sorrow said. You boast shamelessly. Huya was infuriated because Night Sorrow was looking down on him. Huya roared and leapt up, slashing his scimitar towards Night Sorrow. The scimitar was Tiger Fong's natal weapon, his own teeth. Night Sorrow unfurled Samsara and executed Time Shock Wave. Their weapons clashed. Under the influence of Night Sorrow's will of time, some of Tiger Fong's blade's energy dissipated. At the same time, under the influence of the will of time and the rules, Tiger Fong's blade's original force and landing point had changed. The Time Shock Wave shook away Huya's blade. Then, Night Sorrow used Space Whirling Dragon Kill. Space Whirling Dragon Kill was Night Sorrow's fastest mystic technique. Following the Time Shock Wave, he instantly attacked Huya's front. Huya's expression changed. She pulled back her blade to block. Following a muffled sound, the blade in Huya's hand clashed. At this time, Night Sorrow's Samsara once again changed moves. Time Shock Wave once again, however, the energy was controlled to not attack Huya. Rather, it shattered the space in front of Huya. Huya, retreat! The White Tiger King shouted, stopping the Huya who was still charging. Lord White Tiger King, I, Night Sorrow, have not committed any sins in coming to the White Tiger territory. I flipped my weapon forward twice and pierced his body, always deliberately controlling the energy to not explode. I only took a bit of blood, is this excessive? Night Sorrow looked at the White Tiger King and said. Excessive. But you must know one thing. This place is the White Tiger constellation, this king's domain. You have injured this king's descendant. This king can do whatever he wants. The White Tiger territory is a constellation world, a forbidden land for everyone, including demon beast cultivators. If you can come and go as you please, where will this king's face, the face of the White Tiger constellation, be placed? The White Tiger King looked at Night Sorrow, the killing intent in his eyes circulating. Since this is the case, then White Tiger King, lay down the line. I accept. Night Sorrow glanced at the White Tiger King and then swept his gaze over the group of monarch-level white tigers behind the White Tiger King. You are very confident? Could it be you do not know that this place is the White Tiger constellation? In this place, this king's fist is the biggest. The White Tiger King coldly snorted. I dared to come to the White Tiger territory, so I was not afraid. Admittedly, I only came to take the White Tiger's blood, but I also made preparations for battle. Night Sorrow took a deep breath. He knew that what followed was the true battle. Men, seize him! The White Tiger King shouted. Hu Jun, when we are underground, you must know who took your life. Hearing the White Tiger King's words, a man stepped forward. This Hu Jun was stronger than Huya because Huya had just entered the monarch realm. However, he still could not defeat Night Sorrow. After exchanging several blows, he was whipped by Night Sorrow, shattering his sternum and sending him flying. White Tiger King, if you continue to dispatch them to battle, I cannot afford to waste time. I can only use my killing move. Night Sorrow opened his mouth and said. He felt that he had already retreated. If the White Tiger King continued to make things difficult, then he could only start killing. Not bad, you have been suppressed by the White Tiger constellation's world origin power by 30%. They are still not your opponent. You should be an unrivaled monarch outside. The White Tiger King looked at Night Sorrow and said. These are not important. I took the White Tiger's blood. This point is my fault, but I have made concessions everywhere. I have already done what I should have done. I already do not owe you anything. If you want to fight, I will accompany you. Knight Sorrow opened his mouth and said. To have them battle again is indeed meaningless. This king's battle is a bit of a bully. The White Tiger King looked at Knight Sorrow. If Knight Sorrow killed in the White Tiger territory, it was reasonable for him to act to kill him. Now, it was somewhat inappropriate for him to act. King, I only ask that King trap him. Huya will definitely kill him. Huya hatefully said. If you want to kill him, you can only enter the Heavenly Monarch realm. Are you certain you can? The White Tiger King glanced at Huya. Huya and Hu Jun were both stunned because the White Tiger King's words proved that Knight Sorrow was unrivaled among monarchs. Boy, you stay behind. Be a servant at this king's side, and this king will spare your life. The White Tiger King opened his mouth and said. Your Excellency White Tiger King, you think too much. Let's not talk about anything else. I do not want to waste time. Let's fight. Whether it is a group battle or a single battle, I, Knight Sorrow, will take it. Knight Sorrow opened his mouth and said. A single battle, a group battle? You look down on this king too much. Then this king will cut down a tactless bastard like you. You are not allowed to act. Stand guard. The White Tiger King roared. This roar changed the weather. He was truly angry because no one had dared to speak to him like this in countless years. Fine. In other words, today it will be the White Tiger King alone blocking the way? Knight Sorrow opened his mouth and said. There is no need to push this king. If this king cannot kill you, then if you want to leave, no one will stop you. The White Tiger King naturally knew Knight Sorrow's meaning. Speak. The second chapter has arrived. Thank you, Love Nest, old bro, for yesterday's chapter reward. Chapter 1431. Knight Sorrow swung his samsara and looked at the White Tiger King. He knew that he was about to face the most difficult battle, even more difficult than when he fought against Bai Te Song. Bai Te Song's defense was strong, but Knight Sorrow could break through it with his samsara. But what about the White Tiger King? It was one of the strongest among the Heaven Pillars. The White Tiger of the West specialized in killing. Not to mention its defense, its attack was definitely terrifying. As for its speed, Knight Sorrow had seen it from Huya. At this time, the White Tiger King moved. It only took a step forward, and its aura surged. Then, it opened its right hand and slapped towards Knight Sorrow. The suppression was too strong. Knight Sorrow knew that this move could seriously injure him. However, it was not that he did not have a trump card. Why did he cultivate in the sky-piercing peak for 2 years? It was all for today. The only authentic one. All other Zs are pirated versions. Knight Sorrow's body trembled, and a majestic battle intent burst forth. The killing intent and killing intent that were originally suppressing him all retreated. Peak strength. Knight Sorrow cultivated his battle intent on the sky-piercing peak for the sake of maintaining his battle strength. After cultivating for 2 years, his battle intent was completely released. The suppression of the White Tiger constellation no longer existed, and Knight Sorrow's strength once again returned to its peak. After his strength returned to its peak, Knight Sorrow made his move. Samsara pierced out, void extreme kill. A purple halo exploded. Knight Sorrow pierced through the White Tiger King's palm strike, and then a shockwave shattered the center of the palm strike. The violent palm strike landed on the ground, but the place where Knight Sorrow was standing was unharmed. The center of the palm strike was broken, and a circular crater was formed around Knight Sorrow. Battle intent. I didn't expect you to have cultivated your battle intent, and it's already at the small success stage. You have full battle strength, no wonder you're so confident. The White Tiger King squinted at Knight Sorrow, because this was out of his expectations. Then, the White Tiger King made his move. He held a battle blade in his hand, and his moves were wide open and incomparably domineering. However, Knight Sorrow had the virtuous immortal body, and his strength was incomparably tyrannical. He was not at a disadvantage even when facing the White Tiger King head-on. Night Sorrow did not use his ultimate move because the White Tiger King did not use his ultimate move either. After fighting for half an hour, the White Tiger King used the Western White Tiger Kill. The Western White Tiger Kill executed by the White Tiger King was much more tyrannical than the one executed by Huya. Dozens of energy clones fused together and charged towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow knew that the Western White Tiger slaughter could not be resisted. Night Sorrow unleashed a spatial tear, but he slashed it behind him. Night Sorrow's body swayed and entered the spatial tear. Following the explosion, the place where Yi Shang had been standing shattered. Everything shattered, and a black hole appeared. However, Yi Shang wasn't there. At this moment, Night Sorrow walked out from another direction. How many more times can you use it? Night Sorrow asked. Supreme Attribute. This one's ultimate move did not injure you, so continuing to fight is meaningless. You may leave. However, please remember one thing. This king remembers your presence. Please do not come to the White Tiger constellation to look for trouble. The White Tiger King said. This time, I came to the White Tiger territory only to ask for White Tiger blood. Perhaps I will come again, but I will not have malice. Night Sorrow finished speaking and immediately left. Night Sorrow left, and the White Tiger King stood motionless. King, why did you not continue to kill? Huya asked. Kill. He cannot be killed. He has always been on the defensive. Just now, this king's Western White Tiger kill did not kill him. Killing intent has already appeared in his eyes. In other words, if we continue to fight, the situation will not be the same as before. The White Tiger King muttered in a low voice. Then, it flashed away. Night Sorrow flew for a while. The transfer array disc in his hand lit up. Night Sorrow activated the transfer array disc and left this area. Soon after, Night Sorrow teleported several times in succession. Then, he flew towards the space world he had come from. Because there were no threats and no misgivings, Night Sorrow flew at full speed. Half a month later, he arrived at the space barrier. Night Sorrow set up a transfer array that resonated with the sky-piercing giant peak. Then, he tore open the space barrier and began to fly. After passing through the spatial turbulence, Night Sorrow returned to the small space he had come from. Then, sitting on the transfer array, Night Sorrow returned to the world of Samsara. Returning to the world of Samsara, Night Sorrow directly went to the City Lord's mansion. In front of the City Lord's mansion, Night Sorrow saw the Qing Emperor and the Three Suns Heavenly Monarch come out to greet him. Night Sorrow did not feel this was strange. He knew about the Shenwu Great World. The people of the Shenwu Great World wanted him to go out, so there was nothing strange about the Three Suns Heavenly Monarch here. Night Sorrow, you're back. The Qing Emperor looked at Night Sorrow from head to toe. He knew how dangerous it was to go to the White Tiger constellation. I'm back. Night Sorrow nodded. The three of them entered the City Lord's mansion. Misty Rain appeared and brewed some tea. Master, this is monarch-grade White Tiger blood. Night Sorrow took out 2 bottles of White Tiger blood. It must have been hard on you. The Qing Emperor was not happy that Night Sorrow had obtained the White Tiger blood. He had an indescribable feeling in his heart. While drinking tea, the Three Suns Heavenly Monarch cupped his hands and told Night Sorrow his request. He also asked Night Sorrow to state the price. I want to go home first to see my son and daughter. I want to spend a few days with my family, Night Sorrow said. When he left the 9 Regions world, his youngest daughter and son were only 1 month old. Night Sorrow had entered the White Tiger constellation to cultivate for 2 years. In addition to traveling and scouting, he had spent 3 years. Therefore, he had to go back and take a look. Although he had a clone in the sky-sealing Great Hall, it was different from his real body going there. Commander Knight, what price do you want to pay? I'll go back and discuss it with the others. We'll prepare it for you, the Three Suns Heavenly Monarch said. Night Sorrow's appearance gave him hope. If he could get rid of Bai Te Song, there would be hope for the Shenwu Great World stability. The last realm war caused a lot of damage to the Shenwu Great World. Therefore, I thought that the Shenwu Great World could do something to make up for it. There's no need to pay any price, Night Sorrow said. That's not appropriate. We were the ones who initiated the last realm war. We naturally have to bear the consequences. We can't let Commander Knight take action for nothing, the Three Suns Heavenly Monarch said. It's nothing, Master. I still have some white tiger blood. If 2 bottles aren't enough, let me know, Night Sorrow said. 1 bottle is enough, the Qing Emperor said. Then I'll go home and rest for a few days. After that, I'll go to the Shenwu Great World. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at the Qing Emperor and the Three Suns Heavenly Monarch before leaving. He's gotten stronger. Lord Qing Emperor, I'll go back and gather some information. I'll send a disciple here later to wait for Night Sorrow, the Three Suns Heavenly Monarch said. He was really anxious now. When Night Sorrow arrived at the 9 Regions world, Datura and the other girls, who were playing with their children, were very surprised. Come, little Luo. Let father hug you, Datura called out to his son, who was playing with his children. Then, he poured a cup of water for Night Sorrow. Seeing that Night Sorrow was playing with his children, Datura, Sikong Chuyu, and the others asked about Night Sorrow's situation. Datura, Aoi, and the others were very happy to hear that Night Sorrow had managed to obtain the white tiger blood. This was because they all knew that the evil dragon's venomous centipede in the Qing Emperor's body had been a sore point for Night Sorrow. Now that he had resolved it, he had gotten rid of the knot in his heart. Speak. The 3rd watch has arrived. Chapter 1432. After that, Night Sorrow told Datura and the others that he would be going out in a few days. Okay, I'll go with you, Datura said. No need. I can go by myself. I still want to stay at home for a few more days, Night Sorrow said with a smile. That's outside. You have a mission at home too. We all need to have a child. Datura looked at Xueshi. Xueshi blushed when Datura looked at her. She was the only one without a child. The Three Suns Lord of Heaven returned to the Shenwu Great World and went to the small city where the big shots were hiding. He told them that Night Sorrow had returned and that Night Sorrow had agreed to fight. What's the price? We have to pay whatever the price is. Even if it's a huge loss, we have to deal with Bai Te Song. Even if our vitality is greatly damaged, we can slowly recover, Lord of Heaven God who said. Speaking of which, he doesn't want anything. He just wants to help us this once. The Three Suns Lord of Heaven sighed. He felt a little guilty. After all, he had played a part in the realm war. Why doesn't he want anything? The Nanhua Lord of Heaven looked at the Three Suns Lord of Heaven in surprise. Because he feels that the Shenwu Great World suffered some damage during the last realm war. He feels that he has a chance to help. The reason is that simple. He didn't become a virtuous sage without reason. His temperament is not something that ordinary people can compare to. I have to admire him, the Three Suns Lord of Heaven said. We are also indomitable cultivators. We have to acknowledge this favor, Lord of Heaven God who said. Let's talk about it after the battle. Qingyi has already gone to Samsara City. When Night Sorrow is done with his matters, he will bring Night Sorrow over. We have to confirm where Bai Te Song is now and whether he is still in Shenwu City, the Three Suns Lord of Heaven said. After hearing the Three Suns Lord of Heaven's words, the Lords of Heaven present arranged for their subordinates to gather information. Night Sorrow stayed at home with his wife, children, and parents every day. Life was very comfortable. Actually, Mother thinks this is good, Yu Qing said. She knew that Night Sorrow was going out in a few days. Qing, the child has his own path. Let's not affect him, Yi Wuyo said. Father, Mother, don't worry. I'm fine. Besides, Nianxiao isn't young anymore. Marriage is also very important. Chu Yu, make arrangements for Ning Yun and Chi Yu. If there's a suitable time, do it. Night Sorrow said. Yu Qing nodded. Son, Nianxiao uses you as her role model. You're a cultivation maniac. When you have time, tell me about Ning Yun and Chiyue's matter. Chiyu, you're the master's wife, so you should take care of it. Yi Wuyo nodded. Ning Yun and Chiyue were Night Sorrow's disciples. In fact, they were members of the Yi clan. The two of them were very filial. Yi Wuyo and Yu Qing liked them very much. Okay, then do it properly. Do it in Seven Nights City. They have friends in the heaven mystic world too, Sikong Chuyu said. Make it more grand. Send out invitations to those who should be invited. I have some friends that you're not familiar with. Go find Xuanji, Hong Yi, and Lan Ning. They know about some of my connections outside. As for you guys, if you're free, you can take the child for a walk around Nine Chong building. Cultivation isn't the only thing in life. Night Sorrow looked at Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, and the others and said. You should say that to yourself. Cultivation isn't the only thing in life. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow with dissatisfaction. Ninth senior sister, don't be angry. I'm already a mid-level monarch. When I reach the heaven monarch realm, I won't be able to break through even if I want to seclude myself, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Okay, I'm not angry. I know you're doing this for the safety of your family. But don't tire yourself out. Yang Lei said. I understand. Night Sorrow nodded with a smile. He felt that Yang Lei had changed. She had become much gentler and more considerate. Night Sorrow stayed with his family for 2 more days. He decided to take action. He wanted to take care of Bai Te Song. It could be considered as making up for the previous realm war. The original body stayed in the city in the sky to accompany the child Datura Datura. The doppelganger followed Night Sorrow to the reincarnation city and the city lord's mansion. Qing Emperor and Misty Rain received Datura Datura. Although she was the wife of a disciple, her identity as the Dark Dominator couldn't be ignored. On the other hand, Lin Qingyi, who was waiting here, was a little reserved. Because these were all giants. Night Sorrow wasn't a giant, but his deterrence was greater than a giant. His strength couldn't be ignored. Even if she was a top-level monarch, she still felt pressure when facing Night Sorrow. Sit down and drink tea. Don't be too polite. Tell me about the current situation in Shenwu Great World. Night Sorrow nodded to Lin Qingyi. The current Shenwu Great World is riddled with holes. Bai Te Song is doing whatever he wants. He kills people if he doesn't like them. No one can stop him. Lin Qingyi said. For the Shenwu Great World, this is a catastrophe. In fact, this hidden danger has been there for a long time. Bai Te Song has been ambitious for a long time, but it hasn't reached the time to explode. This time, when the Fortune Gate was destroyed, his tyrannical nature erupted. This is something that can't be helped. Night Sorrow said. Yes, my master also said that this matter will explode sooner or later. It's just that the realm war has started. Also, his armor has been confirmed. It's the original defensive armor that was born from the Shenwu world's origin. My master, Lord of Heaven Godly Tiger, and the others can't do anything about it. Even the doppelganger of the Lord of Heaven Raging Flame has fallen. Lin Qingyi said. I also know about the fall of the Lord of Heaven Wolf King. This is also a tribulation. Night Sorrow said. The fall of a Lord of Heaven Raging Flame hasn't happened for many years. This shows how serious this matter is. Lin Qingyi said. Okay, then we'll go there in a moment. Night Sorrow said after taking a sip of tea. Be careful. City Lord Tang and Master Wu Ling of the Xuanhuan Great World couldn't do anything to Bai Te Song. Lin Qingyi reminded Night Sorrow. Although she knew that Night Sorrow could contend with Bai Te Song, Lin Qingyi was still worried. She was afraid that Night Sorrow would be careless. Okay, I know. Night Sorrow drank some tea and stood up. Master, after I leave, close the teleportation formation here. If he wants to run away, I don't think we can defeat him in one battle. Yong Long, free watch, plus talk, that's not a big problem. If he dares to come to our world of samsara, I and my wife can deal with him. I'll inform you and you can come back as soon as possible. Qing Emperor gave a message crystal to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow also left a message crystal to Qing Emperor. Then he walked towards the teleportation formation with Datura. Night Sorrow, are you afraid that he will run away? Datura looked at Night Sorrow and asked. He has the original armor. If he doesn't want to fight, even if he runs away, it will be very annoying. Night Sorrow said. I have the soul lock skill. When we fight later, I'll use it to lock onto his aura. We can find him wherever he goes. Datura said. That's good. Then I'll be more confident. Night Sorrow nodded. Led by Lin Qingyi, Night Sorrow and Datura arrived at the small town where Lord of Heaven Shenhu and the others lived. Speak. The 4th update is here. Today's update is complete. Chapter 1433. Kai Tong Xiao Gao equals, unsealed. Sensing Yi Shang and Mandela's arrival, Lord of Heaven Shenhu and the others came out to welcome them. They led Yi Shang to the manor where they were resting. Sorry to trouble you, Commander Knight. Heaven Lord Shenhu cupped his hands towards Night Sorrow. It's nothing, no need to be so courteous. Night Sorrow shook his head. He could tell that everyone wasn't in a good state. They were even a little embarrassed because they were hiding from trouble. Hiding from being killed and then asking for help. After drinking a few cups of tea, Night Sorrow looked at them. Have you found out where he is? Just bring me there. Night Sorrow said. For was the only genuine one, the others were all fake. We're still investigating. Please rest first and inform Commander Knight when we have results. Heaven Lord Shenhu nodded and sent people to arrange a courtyard for Night Sorrow and Datura. Night Sorrow and Datura stayed there because the investigation results weren't out yet. During this period of time, the heaven pillars couldn't show their faces. If a monarch was discovered by Bai Te Song, they would be killed. Therefore, it was difficult to investigate Bai Te Song's whereabouts. Now that Night Sorrow had arrived, Heaven Lord Shenhu left behind a clone and a group of people went out. Night Sorrow and Datura chatted. The two of them were very relaxed now. Bai Te Song didn't give them any pressure. First of all, Night Sorrow couldn't kill him. At the very least, Bai Te Song couldn't kill Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow, you're a middle-class monarch now. Cultivate slowly and spend more time with your family. Everyone is worried about you. Datura looked at Night Sorrow and said. After cultivating to the heaven pillar level, I couldn't cultivate even if I wanted to. I could only accompany you all at all times. Night Sorrow said. But many people are stuck at the monarch level, unable to advance. This level may require many years of grinding. Datura said. She was a bit conflicted. She wanted to see Night Sorrow succeed, but she didn't want Night Sorrow to always cultivate bitterly. No. My current willpower comprehension is still okay. I cultivated in the White Tiger territory for 2 years. Although I haven't advanced, I can feel that I'm improving very quickly. Night Sorrow looked at Datura and said. You can still comprehend at high speed? Perhaps this is a genius. Datura's eyes were full of astonishment. Right now, I feel that the difficulty is about the same as when I first entered willpower. It's a bit slower than when I entered the king's realm. It's the same as when I first entered willpower, but it requires time. After I take care of Bai Te Song, I'll go pay a visit to the Origin Dao Heavenly Monarch. Then, I'll go cultivate in seclusion. In this world, if I want to have the right to speak, if I want to give my family stability, I must be able to run amok in the world. Night Sorrow said. Actually, you can do it right now. You're just too strict with yourself. Datura said. She understood that Night Sorrow wanted to protect everything right now and had the heart of a strong person. Night Sorrow and Datura waited for information. Waiting for information pertaining to Bai Te Song. Datura also imparted the soul lock technique to Night Sorrow. The soul lock technique was to send one's soul force into the opponent's body during battle. This way, one could find the target at any time. On the fourth day of Night Sorrow and Datura's arrival, news came that Bai Te Song had appeared in the divine martial city lord's manor. Bai Te Song had gathered the Fortune Gate's forces that had been scattered by the reincarnation world. He was going to completely rule over the divine martial city. Since Bai Te Song had appeared, it was time for Night Sorrow to make his move. Following Heavenly Monarch Shenhu's clone, Night Sorrow and Datura arrived at the divine martial city. At this time, Heavenly Monarch Shenhu and the others were facing off against Bai Te Song in the divine martial city. If you submit to the Fortune Gate's rule, I can let bygones be bygones. Otherwise, all of you will die. Bai Te Song, who was wearing a golden heaven-piercing battle armor and holding a long sword, looked at Heavenly Monarch Shenhu and the others. Bai Te Song, if you are capable, then you can come out and be the divine martial city lord. I, Shenhu, have no objections. But what you have done is not righteous enough. Look at what you have done. You've even done things that a mediocre and insignificant cultivator wouldn't even bother to do. Now you want to get rid of your dissidents? Heaven Monarch Shenhu's face was filled with rage as the Inferno Monarch's clone had perished while protecting the three brothers. It was too difficult for a Heaven Monarch realm cultivator to nurture a clone. Losing a clone was equivalent to losing a life. Ruthless? That is because I am qualified. If you are not convinced, then I will kill. I'll kill you until you run away. I'll kill you until you don't have a place to stand. So what if you invited Tang Jianfeng and the Wuling Mountain Chieftain? Didn't you return in defeat? I will not settle this score. When the Shenwu Great World is settled, they will pay the price. Bai Te Song's face was filled with killing intent. He was very angry that Tang Jianfeng and the Wuling Mountain Chieftain had attacked him. He did not have the energy now. If he had the energy, he would definitely kill them. You are not without opponents. Do you think you are invincible? We are all heavenly monarchs. You should believe in fate. There are some things that cannot be done, said Heavenly Monarch Three Sons. Haha. I will be ruthless today. What can you do? Bai Te Song laughed loudly. Night Sorrow is here. He might be here soon, said Heavenly Monarch Three Sons. Don't mention him to me. After the Realm War, he has nothing to do with this. If he dares to come, I will kill his entire family, Bai Te Song shouted fiercely. Bai Te Song had no scruples now. He could kill whoever he wanted and do whatever he wanted. He was not even afraid of Tang Jianfeng and the Wuling Mountain Chieftain. If there was anyone he was afraid of, it would be Night Sorrow. After he activated the Tong Tian armor, he was injured by Night Sorrow and lost an avatar. After shouting, Bai Te Song looked in the direction of the teleportation formation. Night Sorrow and Datura had appeared. Heavenly Monarch Shenhu's avatar and original body had also merged. You will kill my entire family? What I hate the most is when people talk about my family. Those who talk about my family shouldn't be allowed to live. Ye Deadly Fire's murderous intent had already been ignited. Night Sorrow had planned to talk to Bai Te Song first. If he did not act rashly and was willing to restore the Shenwu Great World to its previous state, he would not have to kill him. However, he changed his mind now. People like Bai Te Song deserved to die. He could not let him live. Do you think you have the right to take advantage of me last time? Get lost now. I will pretend that you were never here. Bai Te Song squinted at Night Sorrow. The realm war between the reincarnation world and the Shenwu Great World has caused great damage to the Shenwu Great World. It is true that I fought for the reincarnation world, but I have also caused great damage to the Shenwu Great World. Today, I will kill you and bring peace to the Shenzhen Great World. This is my compensation and my merit. Come on. You better not run away today. Night Sorrow waved his arm and took out the Samsara sword. Damn it. Bai Te Song cursed. He knew that Night Sorrow was invited by Heavenly Monarch Shenhu. Otherwise, Heavenly Monarch Shenhu and the others would not have shown up. Don't talk about other things. If you want to run amok in the world, then show me your strength. Night Sorrow's aura exploded. Speak. Here comes the first update. Chapter 1434. Kai Tong Xiao Gao / unsealed, our enmity has been established. After saying this, Bai Te Song's body flashed and flew to the side. He could sense that Night Sorrow's Samsara had the same aura as his sky armor, so he knew that it was an origin weapon. You want to run? Night Sorrow's body flashed and began to chase. He was worried that Bai Te Song would not care about anything and just get up and run. If Bai Te Song wanted to run with his ridiculous defense, it would be very difficult to kill him. Watch Little Bee talk for free forever. Night Sorrow's speed was also his forte, with the will of time and space protecting him. As he chased, he attacked with Samsara in his hand, aiming for Bai Te Song's back. Bai Te Song turned around and slashed at Night Sorrow's Samsara. Night Sorrow's wrist flicked, and Samsara moved away from its original path and continued to attack. He knew that as long as their weapons clashed, Bai Te Song would use the force to escape. However, Bai Te Song was not a simple person. He wanted to clash head-on. Since the weapons themselves could not clash, he would use energy to clash head-on. The energy on Bai Te Song's longsword exploded, and the energy clashed. He used the recoil from the energy to continue flying. In everyone's opinion, Bai Te Song's sky armor's defense was invincible, but in reality, he was one of the strongest sky behemoths. His battle strength and experience were both top-notch. After the last battle with Yishang, Bai Taiching had made a comparison. Not only did Yishang have the ability to break his Tong Tian armor, but his own combat ability was also amazing. The fact that he was at a disadvantage in the battle between the original body and the doppelganger proved this point. In terms of attack power, Bai Te Song was not as good as Night Sorrow. In terms of defense, Bai Te Song had the advantage, but Night Sorrow was not bad either. If both of them were attacked at the same time, then the one who would suffer the most damage would definitely be Bai Te Song. Bai Te Song's defense was external, while Night Sorrow's defense was innate. If both of them were attacked at the same time, then Night Sorrow would be able to tank it. After analyzing the situation, Bai Te Song did not want to fight Night Sorrow because he was at a disadvantage in all aspects. If Bai Te Song wanted to run, Night Sorrow naturally wouldn't let him. If he let Bai Te Song escape, then he would be a hidden danger. Bai Te Song had already said that he would kill his entire family. How could he let Bai Te Song escape? Night Sorrow waved his hand and continued to attack, while Bai Te Song used the recoil force to escape. After chasing for hundreds of miles, Night Sorrow's body vibrated with energy, and the doppelganger appeared. While Night Sorrow's main body continued to chase, the doppelganger drew an arc in front of Bai Te Song and blocked the battle. Seeing Night Sorrow's doppelganger appear, Bai Te Song's expression changed. He already had a hard time dealing with Night Sorrow's main body, so how could he deal with a doppelganger? However, Bai Te Song also knew that Night Sorrow's doppelganger could not do anything to him. The main threat came from Night Sorrow's main body's weapon. Bai Te Song's main defense was Night Sorrow's main body. As for the doppelganger, no matter how it attacked, it would just take it head-on. Let's see how long you can last. Night Sorrow growled. Night Sorrow's main body continued to suppress and chase, while his doppelganger used the time shockwave attack. If I can't break your armor, then I'll damage your body through the armor. After enduring 2 attacks from Night Sorrow's doppelganger, Bai Te Song's expression turned ugly. Night Sorrow's doppelganger's attacks had a strong shock wave intent, which constantly damaged his body through the armor. He could even feel the energy in his body being drained. Although this kind of damage was not fatal, he could not withstand it. Bai Te Song's body glowed with a green light, and he moved quickly. At this moment, Bai Te Song's speed was extremely fast. Night Sorrow's main body could not keep up. A little angry, Night Sorrow's doppelganger blocked Bai Taesong's flight path and used the Death Destruction Slash. Night Sorrow's main body followed behind and used the Great Emperor Reincarnation Slash. Bai Taesong's head glowed with light, resisting Night Sorrow's attack on his soul. His body continued to move. Because of this, Night Sorrow's Reincarnation Slash, which contained the essence of the Void Extreme Killing, arrived. Bai Taesong twisted his body and avoided the attack from the back. The Reincarnation Slash pierced through his shoulder armor. After the attack succeeded, Night Sorrow's energy exploded and shook the Reincarnation Slash violently. The Reincarnation Slash carried the soul attack energy and rushed toward Bai Taesong's spirit sea. "I'm not done with you," Bai Taesong roared. The light on his head glowed brightly, resisting the soul attack. While resisting the soul attack, Bai Taesong's green light turned red. Then, his speed increased rapidly again. He endured 2 attacks from Night Sorrow's doppelganger and disappeared from everyone's sight. Talent Ultimate Skill. Datura arrived beside Night Sorrow. "What talent? Isn't he too fast? The last time we fought, he was very fast, but not to this extent. With such speed, how can we kill him?" Night Sorrow was a little annoyed. "I wasn't sure at first, but now I understand. He is a demonic beast cultivator who has achieved the Tao. He is a gifted green-winged eagle. The green light on his body just now was his talent energy. The red color that appeared later was his blood essence combustion," Heaven Lord God who said. Everyone had just watched and did not make a move. Even if they did, they would only try to stop him. Bai Taesong had an invincible defense and was not afraid of their attacks. If they tried to stop him, they might affect Night Sorrow's attack. "Don't worry. His blood essence combustion affects his body greatly. He can't keep doing this," Heaven Lord Three Suns said. "I must kill him." Night Sorrow exhaled and recalled his doppelganger. "Have you used the soul lock technique?" Datura asked Night Sorrow. "I used it. I'll go and catch him later." "Let's waste time with him," Yishan said. "That's good. I will deal with him in a while." Datura was confident. If Night Sorrow used the soul lock technique, Bai Taesong would not be able to escape. Night Sorrow looked at Heaven Lord God Hu and the others. "I'm sorry. I am not afraid of him in a head-on battle. However, I really couldn't do anything about his speed just now." "Commander Yi, please don't say that. That speed just now was something that no one could do. If Commander Yi makes a move, he will have some misgivings in his heart. He won't jump out to cause trouble so easily. That way, the Divine Martial Great World will be able to stabilize," said the Three Suns' Heavenly Monarch. As they chatted, the few of them entered the City Lord Manor. It will be difficult to kill Night Sorrow in one go. His blood essence combustion is an innate talent. His speed is unparalleled. It is impossible to kill him, Datura said. "Don't worry. How many times can he burn his blood essence combustion? I will exhaust him to death. As long as he stops, I will kill him." "Heaven Lord Three Suns, give me a complete map," Night Sorrow said. When he saw Bai Taesong's speed just now, Night Sorrow was worried. Because of his amazing defense and speed, he could not kill him. Now that he knew that Bai Taesong's speed was enhanced by the blood essence combustion, Night Sorrow was no longer worried. Heaven Lord Three Suns took out a map and placed it in front of Night Sorrow. "Flaming Cloud City. Let's go to Flaming Cloud City," Night Sorrow said after taking a look and closing the map. Heaven Lord God Hu and the others nodded. When Datura mentioned the soul lock technique, they knew that Night Sorrow could continue to track and kill him. Flaming Cloud City was Tsangling Manor's territory. When they arrived at Flaming Cloud City Lord Manor, Tsangling Manor took out a more detailed map. "Flaming Cloud Canyon," Night Sorrow said after looking at the map. "Speak." Second update. As the name suggests, Labor Day is a time to work with all your might. There is an event on the website, the battle for the throne. This is a battle for both my personal and collective glory. Roar. Please assist me. The only way Shi can thank you is to write a good book. As the number of words gets longer, the time it takes to write each chapter also gets longer. I can't write a regular update, but I will work hard. I will post as much as I write. At the same time, I hope that my brothers and sisters can do their part to create a new world for the myriad DAOs. The event can be seen on the banner on the front page. Click on it and you will be able to assist. Shi thanks everyone. Chapter 1435. The Soul Lock technique was a support-type battle technique. It allowed one's soul aura to enter the opponent's body and use it to determine the target's location. The soul energy used by the Soul Lock technique was not the source of one's soul. Even if the opponent had some secret technique to remove it, it would not cause any harm to the user. Based on the senses of his soul power, Night Sorrow was able to determine the approximate area whereby Taiching had fled. It was a relatively barren area that cultivators rarely went to, Fire Cloud Canyon. Can we ambush him? Tsang Ling's sovereign asked. We won't be able to kill him this time. He can continue burning his essence blood. We'll have to capture him a few more times before he runs out of essence blood, Lord God Tiger said. Then I'll continue to capture him. Night Sorrow stood up and walked out of the city lord's residence. He then flew towards the area he sensed. Lord God Tiger and the others followed him. Although they could not help much, they had to support him mentally. After flying for 2 hours, Yishang turned his head and looked at Heaven Lord Shenhu and the others behind him. Everyone, you can go over later. I'll go over first. After Yishang finished speaking, he deliberately activated his leakless true body and continued flying. Yishan deliberately circulated his all-encompassing true body. Even though he was flying, his aura didn't leak out. Lord God Tiger and the others stopped. However, Datura did the same as Night Sorrow and followed him. A monarch can be so powerful. No one has ever done it before, Lord God Tsangling said. Actually, we should rejoice. If he had the heart to fight for supremacy, then the divine martial great world would have truly fallen. We wouldn't have been able to resist him at all. Among the 3 great world groups, the reincarnation great world is the strongest, said the 3 Suns Lord. Lord God Tiger laughed self-deprecatingly. He suddenly felt that fate was unpredictable. He had always thought of himself as the strongest person in the Shenwu great world. He did not even care about the cultivators from the Samsara great world and the Xianhuang great world. He would fight a world war whenever he wanted. However, reality slapped him in the face. He was not a match for Bai Taesong from the Shenwu Great World. Datura and Sandalwood from the Samsara Great World were on par with him. Night Sorrow, who had appeared out of nowhere, was even stronger. Lord God Tiger felt that if he really wanted to fight, he would have to run. He could not afford to fight. Normally, it was difficult to kill the other party in a battle, defeating the opponent. But now, this rule had been broken. Even if the big shots died one after another, the death of their clones was also considered death. That was still a life. Let's develop slowly. Once the calamity is over, it will be a new beginning. However, we can no longer afford to fight among ourselves, said the 3 Suns' heavenly monarch. At this moment, Bai Taesong was very angry. Night Sorrow's appearance had disrupted his plan again. After the Realm War, Bai Taesong was very careful when fighting with other forces. Even if he fought, he would retreat quickly. He was afraid that Night Sorrow was still in the Shenwu Great World. Almost 3 years had passed. Night Sorrow had not appeared. He felt that Night Sorrow should not care about the Shenwu Great World. Therefore, Night Sorrow returned to the Shenwu city to reorganize his old subordinates. He did not expect that Night Sorrow would appear and injure him as soon as he returned. Burning one's blood essence was very harmful to one's body. Bai Taesong felt that even if he used treasures to replenish his blood essence, he would need a lot of time to recover. After cursing for a while, Bai Te Song took a healing medicine and began to meditate to recover. No matter how he was going to deal with the threat posed by Night Sorrow, he had to hurry up and recover to his best condition. Night Sorrow and Datura moved toward the place where Bai Te Song was staying. "He's not moving. He should be looking for a place to heal," Night Sorrow said. "Be careful. Use your killer move when you get close. Maybe you can't kill him this time, but you have to injure him severely," Datura said. Night Sorrow nodded. He also understood that the possibility of killing Bai Te Song in one go was not high. After burning one's blood essence, one's strength would increase greatly in all aspects. If Bai Te Song did not fight and just ran, it would be very difficult to kill him. After advancing for a while, Night Sorrow scouted the place where Bai Te Song was staying. It was a cave. Night Sorrow understood that Bai Te Song had been here before. This was probably one of Bai Te Song's strongholds. Taking a deep breath, Night Sorrow's main body and doppelganger separated. His main body directly charged toward Bai Te Song's cave while his doppelganger stayed behind to stop Bai Te Song from escaping. When Night Sorrow appeared in front of the cave, Bai Te Song knew. When Bai Te Song rushed out of the cave, Night Sorrow's Samsara used Void Extreme Kill, aiming for his chest. As Bai Te Song dodged, he roared at Night Sorrow, "What do you want?" "Whatever you want, I will give it to you. We have no room for negotiation. You must die." Night Sorrow's Samsara quickly attacked, leaving afterimages behind. Bai Te Song blocked and moved to the other side. The green light on his body appeared again. Knowing that he was no match for Night Sorrow, Bai Te Song did not want to fight. Night Sorrow's doppelganger was there to stop him from escaping. After Night Sorrow's doppelganger appeared, he used Death Destruction Slash. His main body followed behind and used Emperor Samsara Slash. Night Sorrow's Emperor Samsara Slash had already passed. The Attribute Fusion Spacetime and Soul Influence was released. The weapon's attack became Void Extreme Kill, which made the attack stronger. IJ Net Beyong #Geo9X Free XQ Fee, Read S Novels by Tae Song roared, and the Soul Defense Halo appeared on his head again. He then turned and dodged Night Sorrow's main body's attack. He knew that Night Sorrow's main body's attack was fatal. Night Sorrow's main body's attack missed, but Bai Tae Song's body was also sent flying by Night Sorrow's doppelganger. He spat out a mouthful of blood, which was the power of the time oscillation wave. At this moment, Heaven Lord Shenhu and the others had arrived. When they saw Night Sorrow's ferocious attack injuring Bai Tae Song, they were very excited. This was because Bai Tae Song could not withstand Night Sorrow's attack. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, Bai Tae Song's body emitted a blood-red glow. Although he was very unwilling to burn his essence blood, it was not as important as his life. He had to burn his essence blood to fight and escape. After burning his essence blood, Bai Tae Song unsheathed his long sword. A green glow appeared, and he charged towards Night Sorrow. It was an absolute art that attacked the soul. When the green glow enveloped his body, Night Sorrow knew that Bai Tae Song was using an absolute art. The 9 regions' origins in Night Sorrow's spirit sea vibrated, blocking the soul attack. Die, Bai Tae Song roared, and his longsword stabbed towards Night Sorrow's chest. While blocking the soul attack, Night Sorrow's Samsara sword blocked Bai Tae Song's longsword. Then, his right leg flew towards Bai Tae Song's waist. Chapter 1436. Bai Tae Song, who was sent flying by Night Sorrow's kick, shook and regained control of his body. Then, his body flashed and began to escape. Night Sorrow didn't chase because it was useless. Bai Tae Song was too fast. After attacking Bai Tae Song twice and injuring Bai Tae Song, Night Sorrow was already satisfied with the result of burning his essence blood. Datura, Lord Shenhu, and the others also arrived at Night Sorrow's side. "This guy is like a frightened bird, he won't fight you head-on," Datura said. "His speed is too terrifying. If we don't exhaust him to the point where he can't burn his essence blood, it will be very difficult to kill him." Let's continue chasing, Night Sorrow said. Then, Night Sorrow led the group and chased after him. He wanted to pressure Bai Te Song. If you want to run, then continue burning your essence blood. If you slow down, then we will catch up. After using his soul power to check the situation, Bai Te Song was furious. However, he could only burn his essence blood to increase his speed and avoid Night Sorrow and the other's soul power detection area. There's nothing we can do about it. Let's go back and wait. Let's see where he went, Night Sorrow said after Bai Te Song disappeared from their soul power detection area. After returning to Flaming Cloud City, Night Sorrow drank tea while trying to sense Bai Te Song's location. However, he could only sense the general area. What's the situation? Datura looked at Night Sorrow and asked. This fellow is constantly moving. He hasn't stopped. Let's wait and see. He'll eventually stop, Yishan said. Bai Te Song was very puzzled. How did Night Sorrow and the others track him to Flaming Cloud Canyon? Shenwu World was billions of miles wide. If they could track him to Flaming Cloud Canyon, then they must have locked onto him. Bai Te Song felt that this might be the result of the fortune teller's divination, so he didn't dare to stop now. If he stopped, he might be tracked. Bai Te Song had lived for countless years and cultivated to the Heaven Master realm. He was very experienced and knowledgeable. He knew that if he wanted to survive now, he had to avoid being hunted down. The Shenwu Great World was no longer safe. No one chased after him. Bai Te Song ate some healing pills and entered the small city. He then took the teleportation circle and teleported to another high-level world. He then continued to teleport to another world. He wanted to find a safe and secluded place to heal and recuperate. If he couldn't fight against Night Sorrow, he definitely wouldn't appear. He wasn't stupid. He knew that if he wasn't careful and continued like this, he could easily die. The moment Bai Te Song left the Shenwu Great World, Night Sorrow stood up because he could not sense Bai Te Song's situation. He left the Shenwu Great World. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow shook his head helplessly. The soul-locking technique is no longer effective? Datura asked. Yes, it's gone. He should have left the Shenwu Great World. However, I don't know which space he went to. The last place he left should be Wujiang City, Night Sorrow said as he pointed at the map. This is the Heavenly Moon Pavilion's territory. We can still check which worlds Wujiang City is connected to, said the Three Sons Lord of Heaven. Then check. After you're done, let's go to those worlds. I can find his location in the same world, Night Sorrow said. As soon as Night Sorrow finished speaking, a golden light appeared in the sky and landed on Night Sorrow's head. The golden light of merit. Night Sorrow had forced Bai Te Song to retreat. The Shenwu Great World had stabilized. This was a boundless merit. Night Sorrow took out a futon and sat down to meditate. It stabilized. The divine martial origin thinks that the chaos has passed, said Lord of Heaven God Hu. He naturally knew that it was the golden light of merit. Lord of Heaven God Hu, Three Sons Lord of Heaven, even if we chase after him, there won't be much of an effect. Bai Te Song is not stupid. He will definitely try his best to hide. He has been the leader of a force for many years. It's impossible for him to only have the creation Immortal Pavilion spatial Dharma treasure. If he went to another spatial world and entered a spatial Dharma treasure to heal, we won't be able to find him, Datura said. Yes, we did not prepare properly. However, after being beaten up to this extent by Commander Knight, he won't dare to come out easily. He won't dare to return to the Shenwu Great World either. The Three Sons Lord of Heaven nodded. He knew that although they had not killed Bai Te Song would not dare to come out. Night Sorrow cultivated for 2 hours before standing up. 8 Our network, Yong Rugio Free Watch Little E say 1 Night Sorrow's body of merit had reached the critical point of becoming a Merit Supreme Sage. He just needed one more step and he would become a Merit Supreme Sage. Night Sorrow also had some enlightenment. He did not have this opportunity in the Reincarnation Great World or the Shenwu Great World. The 3,000 realms were a whole. Night Sorrow did not know if there were other groups of 3,000 realms like this. However, he knew that the Reincarnation Great World, the Shenwu Great World, and the Black-Yellow Great World were part of a group of 3,000 realms. Each Great World ruled 1,000 realms. Night Sorrow had already obtained merit from the Reincarnation Great World and the Shenwu Great World. If he wanted to break through the critical point, he could only obtain merit from the Black-Yellow Great World. Night Sorrow shook his head. He knew that it was best to let nature take its course. If he wanted to become a Merit Supreme Sage, he would be at a disadvantage. His master, the Qing Emperor, knew a lot. However, he was still not a Merit Supreme Sage. He was not even a body of merit. Upon seeing Night Sorrow stand up, Heaven Lord Shenhu and the others cupped their fists at Night Sorrow. It is indeed very difficult for us to catch him now. However, I believe that he will not dare to come out easily. How about this? You guys should contact each other. This is my messaging crystal. If that fellow appears and attacks you, you can contact me immediately. I will rush over. Night Sorrow took out a messaging crystal and handed it to Heaven Lord Three Suns. I am very grateful to Commander Night. Let's go to the Shenwu city to rest and set up a banquet, Heaven Lord Three Suns said. Commander Night, I said last time that if you come to the Shenwu Great World after the Realm War, you will be a distinguished guest of the Zhanwu dynasty. This time, you must treat Commander Night to a drink. Don't mind what happened in the past, Heaven Lord Shenhu said. I will drink this wine. Night Sorrow nodded. He did not want to reject such an offer. Heaven Lord Shenhu brought a group of people to one of his courtyards in the Shenwu city. Three Suns, Tsangling, Nanhua, the realm war last time was my fault. I will apologize to everyone here. After instructing his servants to prepare some food and wine, Heaven Lord Shenhu bowed to the other Heaven Lords of the Shenwu Great World. You must not be impulsive in the future. However, now that the calamity is over, it is a new beginning, Heaven Lord Three Suns said. Night Sorrow, this favor does not count. I am grateful for your mercy last time. This is a small gift I have prepared for you. Heaven Lord Shenhu took out a storage ring. There is no need. There is really no need. You guys suffered a lot during the Realm War last time, Night Sorrow rejected with a smile. In that case, I will give you this mansion. You will have a place to stay in the Shenwu Great World. You cannot reject this, Heaven Lord Shenhu said. Chapter 1437. Lord God Who, this isn't very appropriate, Night Sorrow said. He didn't want it, but he didn't know how to reject it. How is it inappropriate? No one is taking care of it. You don't have to worry about it. The servants here will be taken care of, Lord God Who said. Just accept it. Actually, we have a favor to ask of you. You have a mansion in Shenwu Great World. Bai Taesong won't dare to come back even if he finds out, Lord God Who said. Night Sorrow, I didn't think of this. I'm really not plotting against you. Lord God Who felt a little awkward after hearing Lord God Who's words. It's fine. I'll accept the mansion. Just leave the servants here. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood that Lord God Who wasn't plotting against him. While drinking, the people of Shenwu Great World elected the Lord of Shenwu City. Everyone chose Lord God Who. However, Lord God Who took the initiative to make some promises. Bai Taesong's forbearance had caused Lord God Who's temperament to change. Night Sorrow and Datura just listened and didn't say anything. After drinking and expressing their gratitude again, Lord God Who and the others left, leaving Datura and Night Sorrow drinking tea and chatting. This mansion is in the best location in Shenwu City. 100,000 Saint Spirit stones wouldn't be enough to buy it. However, this mansion is a little troublesome. Only the two of us can live here. It won't be safe for other people, Datura said. Just leave it there. We'll come and take a look when we have time. Let's go to the Shenwu Fighting Paradise to take a look, Night Sorrow said to Datura. Datura nodded. She respected Night Sorrow's opinion. She also wanted to see it. It was the face of Shinwu Great World. It was on the same level as the Reincarnation Palace in the Reincarnation Great World and the Heaven and Earth Pavilion in the Black-Yellow Great World. Night Sorrow and Datura strolled towards the Divine Martial Fighting Paradise, located south of the Divine Martial City. As soon as Night Sorrow arrived, there was a burst of energy, and the Divine Martial Origin body wearing a simple robe appeared. Super cool 9. It was not the first time that Night Sorrow had come into contact with the world's origin, so he could tell at a glance. Night Sorrow and Datura cupped their hands towards the Divine Martial Source body. This was out of courtesy. No matter how the realm war went, there was nothing wrong with showing some respect to a world source that had grown for countless years. The Divine Martial Origin body looked at Night Sorrow for a while before nodding. The Shinwu Great World's realm war was not an unjust loss. I'm sorry. I'm a cultivator from the reincarnation world. I have to win this war for the reincarnation world, Night Sorrow said. You are from the reincarnation world. You are now, but you might not be in the future. However, it's not wrong for you to contribute to the realm war. The Divine Martial Origin body looked at Night Sorrow and said. Is it now or in the future? Night Sorrow did not understand. You are the realm lord of the Supreme Origin world. In the future, it will also be a great world. You are a talent from that great world, the Divine Martial Origin body explained. I understand. I still have to apologize for hurting the Shinwu Great World. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards the Divine Martial Origin body again. You don't have to apologize. On the contrary, I should be thanking you for helping me deal with the aftermath, the Divine Martial Origin body said. It's still not done well. If he escapes, he will become a hidden danger sooner or later, Night Sorrow said. I don't think so. He obtained the Origin battle armor in the battling heaven. It's the Divine Martial Origin battle armor. After he loses his virtue, I can't go back on my words and take back the armor. However, I won't be able to buff it anymore. If he keeps using it in the Shinwu Great World, it won't be a problem. However, once he leaves the Shinwu Great World, the origin power will slowly dissipate. Furthermore, after being pierced by you a few times, much of its origin power has been consumed, the Divine Martial Origin body said. It will dissipate slowly. As long as we can hold on until the origin battle armor loses its power, he will no longer be a threat. Night Sorrow nodded. 20 years. In the next 20 years, help me protect the Shinwu Great World. After 20 years, the origin battle armor will only be slightly stronger than a monarch weapon, the Divine Martial Origin body said to Night Sorrow. 20 years is not a problem. If Bai Taesong appears, I will make a move. Night Sorrow frowned. Bai Taesong's origin battle armor would lose its power. Would his reincarnation have this drawback? You don't have to worry. You are the lord of the origin of the sovereign world. You also have the sovereign attribute. Your origin is compatible with your attribute. No one can take it away from you. The reincarnation origin will only buff and modify it. The Divine Martial Origin body saw Night Sorrow's worry. After hearing the Divine Martial Origin body's words, Night Sorrow felt at ease. He didn't like unstable factors. Reincarnation was too important to him. You will help me protect the Shinwu Great World for 20 years. I will remember this favor. You have the luck and merit in the reincarnation world. You will have the same luck and merit in the Shinwu Great World. The Divine Martial Origin body nodded to Night Sorrow. After making a promise, the Divine Martial Origin body disappeared. In front of the Divine Martial Battle Heaven, Datura and the two returned to the mansion. Before returning to the mansion, Night Sorrow noticed that the mansion's signboard had been changed. The original signboard with the words, God Tiger, had disappeared. Instead, it was replaced by the Yi Mansion's signboard. You are quite fast. Not bad. Night Sorrow looked at the signboard and said. It is also a family property. Moreover, it is a family property that no one will covet easily. Datura said with a smile. At the very least, no one will touch this mansion when the top forces are in charge in the Shenwu Great World. Night Sorrow smiled. Lord God Tiger and the others' attitudes had changed. They respected him very much. Not only would they not touch this mansion, but they would also not allow others to touch it. In addition, the Yi Mansion was not a place that anyone could touch as they wished. To be exact, no one dared to touch it. Night Sorrow's name was not only in the reincarnation world, but also in the Shenwu Great World. Night Sorrow pulled Datura into the mansion. After drinking 2 cups of wine, Night Sorrow and Datura took the teleportation formation back to the reincarnation world. Seeing that Night Sorrow had returned, Qing Emperor was very happy and set up a banquet. Master, how is the situation now? Night Sorrow asked. Very good. He has completely recovered. His cultivation has also improved slightly. Very good. Qing Emperor said with a smile. He knew what Night Sorrow was asking about. Good. Night Sorrow nodded vigorously. Night Sorrow was most worried about Qing Emperor's health. Haha. You should be relieved now. Qing Emperor said with a smile. I am relieved. Later, I will go to Yuandao Heaven to have a look. Night Sorrow said. It's good to go and have a look. You may not know that Yuandao Heaven is in a bad situation now. There is also trouble in the Xuanhuan Great World. Demons like those in Yuandao Heaven's seal have appeared inexplicably. They seem to come from the same place and have the same origin, Qing Emperor said. Chapter 1438. What is fate? Qing Emperor looked at Night Sorrow. The fate of the deluxe merit sage is 3 groups of worlds and 3,000 worlds. Merit cannot be biased. In other words, no matter what I do in the Samsara Great World, I will not become the deluxe merit sage. The deluxe merit sage not only needs the approval of the world's origin, but also the approval of the heavenly way. I do not deliberately seek merit. If something happens in the Shenwu Great World, I will help if I can. If there is a demon invasion in the Xuanhuan Great World, it will be best if there is merit. Even if there is no merit, there are some things that need to be done. After all, Master and City Lord Tang are best friends, and I also have friends there, Night Sorrow said. Your path is different from ordinary cultivators, so I can't see it clearly. Just follow your heart, Qing Emperor said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that there were some things that needed to be done naturally. There was no need to force it. When the time was right, the opportunity would come. This was fate. After the banquet, Night Sorrow and Datura left the Samsara City Lord's mansion. They took the teleportation formation back to the 9-story building. Night Sorrow arrived at the Sky Tiger Pass. He looked at the soldiers of the 9 Heavens Legion and the members of the God-slaying team. After staying in the 9-story building for a while, Night Sorrow told Datura that he planned to go to the Yuandao sky to take a look. Okay, then go. Come back early. I will go to the dark abyss to take a look. Datura said. She was very confident in Night Sorrow's safety. It was not easy for anyone to kill Night Sorrow now. Even Bai Te Song, who had the origin battle armor, could not do it, let alone others. Then go and take a look. Come back early, Night Sorrow said. Okay, I will go and take a look. I just need to tell them what to do. There is no war now. Let others do it. Datura nodded. Then, Night Sorrow packed up and set off. Yuandao Sky was quite far from Reincarnation City. After Night Sorrow used a few teleportation arrays, he started to fly because Yuandao Tian was in the Boundless Sea region. There were many islands in the Endless Sea domain, and Yuandao Tian was one of them. If he didn't have a map and didn't know where to go, he would never be able to find Yuandao Tian. Night Sorrow flew for half an hour and arrived at a small island. He then entered a special stone forest. Following the path on the map, Night Sorrow arrived at a teleportation channel. Teleporting to another small island, Night Sorrow left the teleportation array and walked for a while before entering an iron forest. Night Sorrow arrived in front of a huge three-pronged iron tree. With a flash, he leaped onto the tree. 200 feet above the tree, there was a small man-made platform with a teleportation array on it. After Night Sorrow finished teleporting, he arrived at a huge island. This was the headquarters of Yuan Dao Tian. As soon as Night Sorrow came out, he was stopped by two sovereigns. "Who are you? Why are you here?" asked one of the sovereigns. "I am here to visit Yuan Dao Tian," said Night Sorrow. "Hand over your weapons, and I will report it. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite," said the sovereign. Night Sorrow wouldn't agree to hand over his weapons, so he wouldn't let anyone else do it. "I'm standing right here." "Can't you report it?" asked Night Sorrow. "No, you must hand over your weapons," said the sovereign coldly. "All right, pretend I didn't come." Since the other party insisted on making him hand over his weapons, Night Sorrow had no choice but to leave. "Yuan Dao Tian, do you think you can come and go as you please?" The sovereign pulled out her weapons. "Stop, don't be rude." Just as Night Sorrow raised his hand to grab some Sara, Yufeng appeared. "Greetings, Commander." "Greetings, Commander." The two sovereigns and Yufeng who were guarding the teleportation array bowed respectfully. The two monarchs guarding the teleportation array bowed to Yufeng, and Yufeng bowed to Yishan. "You're finally here. If you hadn't come, I wouldn't have been able to enter or leave." "This is really worrying," said Night Sorrow bitterly. "What's wrong with you two? Don't you know what's going on? Can't you report that this is a guest of the Heavenly Lord?" Yufeng glared at the two sovereigns. "Commander Yufeng, it's nothing," said Night Sorrow. He really didn't care about the two sovereigns blocking his way. "I'm sorry that this happened. I'm really sorry." At this time, Yuan Dao Tian appeared. When Night Sorrow touched Samsara, his aura leaked out, and Yuan Dao Tian noticed it. "Heavenly Lord, you're too polite." "It's nothing. However, weapons are the lifeblood of us cultivators. It's really not very appropriate to hand over weapons," said Night Sorrow. "The two of you acted on your own accord. Go to the cliff of reflection and reflect on your mistakes. Weapons are what cultivators rely on to survive. You're asking for someone else's weapon. Isn't that the same as asking for someone else's life?" said Yuan Dao Tian angrily as he looked at the two sovereigns who were making things difficult for Night Sorrow. At this time, the two sovereigns bowed to Night Sorrow and apologized. "I'm here to visit Heavenly Lord because I'm happy. I feel bad that they were punished because of me," said Night Sorrow. "All right, the two of you be careful in the future. Commander Night, let's go." Yuan Dao Tian led Night Sorrow into Yuan Dao Tian. "You two bastards. That's the commander of our Samsara World's Alliance army. You want to hand over his weapon?" Yufeng glared at the two sovereigns who were guarding the teleportation formation. "He's very young. Who knew that he was the commander of the Alliance army?" "Heavenly Lord, you're too polite," said the female sovereign. She was a member of Yuan Daotian's primordial hall, Huang Yu. "Young man, if you don't accept it, he can chase after a sky pillar and kill you. Killing you too is as easy as squashing ants. Don't talk nonsense and remember today's lesson." Yufeng was somewhat dissatisfied with Huang Yu's attitude because Yishan was someone he respected. Night Sorrow and Yuan Dao Tian arrived at Yuan Daotian's primordial hall. "I received news that you went to kill Bai Te Song again," said Yuan Dao Tian after sitting down. "It's embarrassing to say that he still managed to escape." "I didn't succeed in chasing him down," said Night Sorrow. "It's embarrassing." "It's an awe-inspiring thing," said Yuan Dao Tian with a smile. The two of them chatted casually. Night Sorrow talked about chasing after Bai Te Song. "So what if he ran?" "He's very afraid of you. He won't dare to act recklessly in the future," said Yuan Dao Tian. "Indeed, it's not much of a threat. His origin energy armor will become weaker and weaker. Once the origin energy armor loses its power, others will be able to fight against him. Knight Sorrow explained what had happened when he saw the divine martial origin. Most N7 new chapters are cool X, that's good. It's really a troubled time. Xuanhuan Great World is a bit chaotic. The demons are very strong. It's really a disaster. Yuan Dao Tian sighed. Chapter 1439. It wasn't very stable before. However, after the chaos in the black-yellow Great World, Yuan Dao Heaven became relatively stable. There are some things that you might not know. I know more about them, so I'll tell you about them, Yuan Dao Lord of Heaven said. Yuan Dao Lord of Heaven then told Knight Sorrow some things. Yuan Dao Heaven was the oldest force in the reincarnation Great World. Yuan Dao Lord of Heaven knew some things that others didn't know. The reincarnation Great World, the Shenwu Great World, and the Xuanhuan Great World each had 1,000 worlds. They formed the 3,000 worlds group called the Chaos Domain. Yuan Dao Lord of Heaven didn't know how many there were, but he was sure that there were many of them. Yuan Dao Heaven was guarding the passageway to the Chaos Domain from another domain. Look at Chapter 1 #NH Network, others don't know? Knight Sorrow asked. No. What's the point of telling them this? It'll only make them upset. Maybe the people from the Celestial Sect know, because their rank 9 corpse came from somewhere else, Yuan Dao Lord of Heaven said. Somewhere else? Knight Sorrow was shocked. This world was much more complicated than he thought. It's hard to say. I'll tell you slowly. Yuan Dao Lord of Heaven exhaled. Yuan Dao Heaven wasn't created by Yuan Dao Lord of Heaven, but Yuan Qing Lord of Heaven. Yuan Qing Heaven Lord had obtained the inheritance of a level 9 cultivator. However, Yuan Qing Heaven Lord had fallen. Normally, King of Heaven was in the undying realm and had an endless lifespan. A Lord of Heaven wouldn't die so easily. Yuan Qing Lord of Heaven died in a battle with the demons. He killed his opponent, but his original body was severely injured. His doppelganger also suffered irrecoverable injuries. Later, when he was suppressing the demon's passageway, the demon's aura entered his body and he died. Yuan Qing Lord of Heaven could have survived as long as he left the demon's passageway. He didn't want the reincarnation Great World to be attacked by the demons, so he persisted until Yuan Dao Lord of Heaven entered the Heavenly Lord realm. The inheritance that Master received came from the Celestial Realm's Yuan Dao Celestial Sect. This is also the origin of our Yuan Dao Celestial Sect's name, said Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord. What kind of place is the Celestial Realm? I've read a lot of ancient books, but there's no record of it, Knight Sorrow said in surprise. Other than you, I have never mentioned it to anyone else. Therefore, no one knows that the Celestial Realm is the core of all the realms. It surpasses all the realms. The greater realms are nothing in front of the Celestial Realm. In fact, many people do not know or are ignorant. They have confused some concepts. Let me explain it to you. Yuan Dao Sky Lord nodded to Knight Sorrow. Many people referred to the world of reincarnation, Shenhuang, and Shenwu as sovereign worlds or greater worlds. But in fact, it is correct to call it the Great World, but not the Supreme World. Also, for cultivators above the 8th step but not the 9th step, it is correct to call them Heavenly Lord, but not Tycoon. Vision determines everything. Heavenly Lords are nothing in front of a 9th step Imperial Realm cultivator. They will be easily killed. Calling them Tycoons is a joke. Of course, there is no need for us to correct them, said Yuan Dao Sky Lord. Yes, there is no need. Let others call them whatever they want. Lord Heavenly Lord, does the Celestial Realm have anything to do with us? Knight Sorrow asked. Yes, the Celestial Realm's inheritance is a hidden danger. Everyone avoids it. Also, if you want to enter the 9th step, it will be easier in the Celestial Realm. Of course, this is what I read in the ancient books. Who knows the specifics? I actually want to go and take a look, but the Devil's Channel must be suppressed. This is the responsibility of the Yuandao's celestial disciples, said Yuandao's Sky Lord. Thank you, Senior. Night Sorrow stood up and bowed to Yuandao's Sky Lord. It's nothing. I still gain something. Look. Yuandao's Sky Lord released his aura. Body of merit. Yuandao's Sky Lord was also a body of merit. Because he was suppressing the devil's channel, he was also a great benefactor to the reincarnation world. There are many things that I haven't said to anyone else. That's because I don't trust you. If someone with evil intentions comes to attack the Yuandao heaven and the Yuandao heaven is destroyed, the reincarnation great world will suffer a calamity. However, your merit is even greater than mine. That's why I trust you. Yuandao Heavenly Lord said. I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. You are very strong now. If I can't handle it, there will be a successor. I believe you are willing to help the reincarnation world, said Yuandao's Sky Lord with a smile. Of course. Later, Senior, bring Night Sorrow to the Devil's Channel, said Night Sorrow. Sure, but there is no rush. You are the first VIP of the Yuandao Celestial after so many years. We must treat you well. Yuandao's Sky Lord was in high spirits. Night Sorrow nodded. It was hard to refuse Yuandao's Sky Lord's hospitality, so he could only accept. Yuandao's Sky Lord held a welcoming banquet for Night Sorrow and called all the important people of the Yuandao Celestial over. Before the banquet began, Yuandao's Sky Lord stood up. Today, I have something to announce. This is Night Sorrow, my friend. In the future, his orders in the Yuandao Celestial will be the same as mine. Sky Lord, how can I accept this? Night Sorrow was a little anxious. Don't be so agitated. You must come to the Yuandao Celestial as a guest. Today's misunderstanding cannot happen again, so it is necessary to get to know you. Yuandao's Sky Lord smiled. After the banquet, Yuandao's Sky Lord arranged a courtyard for Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea and pondered. Today's events had greatly affected him. As his level increased, he learned more. Night Sorrow also understood that Yuandao's Sky Lord was someone who had truly contributed to the reincarnation world. He also understood why the Celestial sect was so domineering. It was because they were a power that had been passed down from the Celestial realm. They naturally had many trump cards. Night Sorrow definitely wanted to uproot the Celestial sect. It was just that the time wasn't right, so he had to wait. It wasn't that Night Sorrow couldn't tolerate them. It was just that the Celestial sect had developed a self-centered temperament. Everyone had to give them face. Furthermore, Night Sorrow wouldn't let go of the matter of him injuring the Qing Emperor. Night Sorrow had his own considerations when it came to grudges. He could tolerate some things, but there were also some things he couldn't tolerate. After resting for a while, Yuandao's Sky Lord brought Night Sorrow along and began flying. These fiends are a little different from the ones in the Dark Abyss. They are more tyrannical, so they aren't easy to deal with. Fortunately, Master set up a sealing formation, so we can still block them. My true body has been guarding the formation this entire time. What level of fiends are they? Asked Night Sorrow. Chapter 1440. As they flew, Night Sorrow and Yuandao Heavenly Lord arrived at the center of Yuandao Heavenly Island. There were countless iron pillars on all sides, and between the iron pillars were black chains. The chains emitted light, and as the light flickered, it emitted a shocking aura. This is the primordial octagonal demon lock array. It prevents the aura of the Devil's Tunnel from leaking out, and it can also gather the suppressive force of the reincarnation great world. It is the last barrier of the Devil's Tunnel. Let's go in. Yuandao Heavenly Lord waved his arm and released energy to shake the chains, opening a tunnel. Night Sorrow and Yuandao Heavenly Lord entered the tunnel. There is a teleportation array here that can instantly reach the place. This time, you can experience it. We will not take the teleportation array. Night Sorrow can fly over and take a look. Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord pointed at the teleportation array beside the tunnel. Following that, he led Night Sorrow and flew diagonally underground. Half an hour later, Night Sorrow and Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord arrived at an underground hall. The hall was huge, with a diameter of about 3 to 4 miles. The hall was filled with dense energy beams, and Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord sat in the middle. That is my true body. Because guarding this place can condense my quintessential chi, my true body is here, and my avatar is handling the matters outside, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord said. At that moment, Night Sorrow was looking at the defensive barrier opposite him and Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord on the way in. Inside the defensive barrier, there was an ink-black energy tumbling, and there were human figures. Night Sorrow felt that the human figures contained very strong energy, and one of them was at the Heavenly Lord level. Don't worry. The array formation here is quite strong. The stronger the opponent's charge, the stronger the array formation suppression will be, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord said. But it will only treat the symptoms and not the root cause. We can't passively defend like this. Something will definitely go wrong if we keep defending. Night Sorrow was a little worried. Your thoughts are the same as mine, but there is nothing we can do now. We don't have the strength to fight back, so we can only keep reinforcing the array formation, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord said. I understand. This is everyone's business. We'll discuss it later, Night Sorrow said. I've kept this matter in my heart for many years and didn't dare to tell anyone. I was afraid that there would be people with bad intentions who wanted to destroy this place. That would be a huge problem. Just like Ling Tian, he's a crazy person. Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord said. He was talking to Yi Shang as a friend, he was addressing him as I. That is indeed the case. Night Sorrow nodded his head. He could understand the pressure that Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord felt. I have my own selfish motives for pulling you into this whirlpool. However, it is also for the sake of the entire reincarnation world, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord said apologetically. Lord of Heaven, you think too much. I want some peace and quiet, but I'm not someone who can't see the big picture, Night Sorrow said. It's my fault for disturbing your peace. I'll treat you to a drink later, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord said. What's up with that tunnel? Night Sorrow asked as he pointed to a door that was sealed with origin stone chains at the side of the hall. That's the place where Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord's ancestors came from. However, no one has ever entered. Let alone entering, there are only 3 people in the world who have entered. Me, you, and Yu Feng. I see the 2 of them as my future successors, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord said. I understand. I'll have to go and take a look in the future, Night Sorrow said. You still have room for improvement. When you feel that you have reached a limit, you can send a clone in to try. I won't stop you. If you want to change, you have to have a plan, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord said. All right. Night Sorrow nodded his head. Then, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord introduced Night Sorrow to the operation of the array in the hall. In other words, Night Sorrow could control everything here. After the introduction, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord brought Night Sorrow back to his side yard. I feel much more relaxed now that I've pulled you into the pit. Even if I can't handle it, you're still here, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord said with a smile. The millions of living beings in the reincarnation great world should thank you, Lord Heavenly Lord, Night Sorrow said. That's nothing. As a member of Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord, we have to adhere to the teachings of our ancestors. Also, don't worry. I'm here. You don't have to worry about anything here, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord said. Night Sorrow nodded his head. He could understand what Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord was thinking. He was leaving a backup plan for Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord and the reincarnation great world. Night Sorrow stayed in Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord for half a month. Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord brought Night Sorrow around and all the members of Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord got to know Night Sorrow. When Night Sorrow was about to leave, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord did not ask him to stay. After all, Night Sorrow had his own things to do. Then, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord and Yu Feng sent him off. Night Sorrow took the teleportation array and left. After flying across the endless ocean, Night Sorrow returned to the reincarnation great world. Then, he took the teleportation array and returned to the city in the sky. Seeing Night Sorrow return, his son and daughter ran to Night Sorrow's side. Did it go well? Datura, who was following the children, asked. Yes, but I know something. I'll tell you later, Night Sorrow said. Yes. The situation in the Xuanhuan Great World is not looking good. The entire world is fighting. The main reason is that the devil army is too strong, Datura said. Troubled times. Yishan spat out these words. Datura looked at Night Sorrow and smiled. During your growth, you never settled down. However, because of the constant challenges, you grew faster. Actually, it's strange. So many years have passed, but so many things have not happened, Datura said. Then, after returning to the mansion, Night Sorrow casually chatted with his family. After being asked by Datura, Night Sorrow thought for a while and felt that it was nothing. Then, he told them everything he had seen and heard in Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord. The Primal Chaos Realm. Our 3 great worlds form the Primal Chaos Realm. There are 3,000 realms like this? Datura looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. Yes, the Celestial Realm. According to Lord of Heaven Yuanqing, the Celestial Realm is the core of all the world groups. Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord's inheritance is external. The inheritance of Celestial Sect is also external. So, there are many unknown things. Night Sorrow nodded. Datura was also thinking. Because things had gone beyond her prediction, there were many things she did not know. Don't think too much, Night Sorrow said. What do you think about the Xuanhuan Great World? Night Sorrow asked Datura. Cool first, 2-inch no matter what, it should happen. Let nature take its course. Besides, my path to becoming a merit great sage is also in the Xuanhuan Great World. Last time, I took the heavenly Dao flower in the Heaven and Earth Pavilion. This is karma, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 1441. Just as the host was looking at the bald middle-aged man expectantly, hoping that he would raise the price to 550 million, the bald middle-aged man suddenly raised his hand and said something that stunned the host. New address. I give up. As soon as he said that, the whole audience went into an uproar. No one knew why he gave up. If he just wanted to set the price, he obviously didn't have to say that. That would definitely bring him revenge. Lin Feng was slightly stunned. Could it be that he had encountered the same kind of high prices before? Give up. Although the host was a little disappointed, he still said in a professional manner, it's every auction owner's right to give up. Now, 510 million going once, 510 million going twice. The host paused deliberately, but still, no one raised the price, so he had to make the final decision. 510 million, sold. The final winner is Mr. Lin, the chairman of our Jianfang Real Estate Company. Congratulations to him. The audience applauded warmly. Although this auction item wasn't the most expensive one in the whole auction, Lin Feng deserved to be respected as the finale item. The reason was very simple. This was the rule of the auction. The winner of the finale item deserved to be applauded like this. Congratulations, Chairman Lin. But I didn't see you interested in bronze before. Bamboo Pole didn't say anything, but Secretary Li was a little curious. During this period, he had been with Lin Feng almost every day, so he knew that Lin Feng liked antiques. However, the antiques that Lin Feng had submitted before were all small ones, and he had never touched a bronze item. Lin Feng smiled. I'm just curious. I've never touched a bronze item before. If this sword is real, then it's worth this price. I even got a big bargain. Let's go sign the contract after the auction. We still haven't received 4 billion yet, haha. Because all the transactions were done backstage, Lin Feng went backstage after the auction. The person in charge of this auction was a manager of the Tianqi Auction Company. When Lin Feng signed the contract, he told him that he wanted to meet the boss of the Tianqi Auction Company to discuss cooperation. Lin Feng thought that the manager would agree. After all, if such a small auction company could cooperate with a big company, it would be a great help to their project. However, Lin Feng didn't expect that the manager would politely reject him. Lin Feng didn't insist. However, when he heard Mo Tianqing say that the boss of the Tianqi Auction Company was comparable to him, he couldn't help but feel a little uncomfortable. After all, he had cheated by using the hand of seizing. Naturally, he was much better than others. However, if there was someone who was comparable to him, what was the use of the hand of seizing? This reminded Lin Feng of Shui Qinghan at the treasure appraisal competition. She was the only person he admired. Unfortunately, Shui Qinghan wasn't an ordinary person. If he could find Shui Qinghan, Lin Feng believed that he could persuade Shui Qinghan to tell him about people like him. Chairman Lin, our boss is a little eccentric. Ever since he opened the studio, he rarely shows his face in public. I'm almost always in charge of business cooperation and negotiations. So, if there's anything that's not satisfactory, please forgive us, Chairman Lin. After the manager stamped the Tianqi Auction Company's seal on the contract, he handed the bronze sword to Lin Feng. As for this bronze sword, our boss said that no matter how much it costs, only the fated person can get it. It seems that Chairman Lin is the fated person. Congratulations, Chairman Lin. Of course, Lin Feng didn't take this to heart. This was a skill of being a businessman, especially in the antique business. The cost of an antique was just a little bit, so it wouldn't attract many people, but why could it be sold at such a high price? Wasn't it because of interest? Was it because of faith? Because of history? Therefore, in Lin Feng's eyes, this nonsense about the fated person was just a marketing tactic. If the manager didn't tell him this, how could he feel good about spending so much money to buy a sword? However, in the antique industry, one couldn't complain about the high price. After all, this kind of thing had always been a matter of willingness. After getting the bronze sword wrapped in wooden packaging, Lin Feng walked out of the backstage. At this time, Boss Lu had also signed the contract. He walked over with a smile and said apologetically, Chairman Lin, I'm sorry. I received a call from Chairman Mo at the last minute. She asked me to buy this piece of land, saying that you need it. Because the auction has already started, I didn't have time to inform you, so I bought it directly. Let's find a place to transfer the contract. Lin Feng nodded. It seemed that Mo Xiaonian was really good at messing with him. However, he had to admit that although Mo Xiaonian had been staying at home all this time, she had helped him a lot at home. For example, this time, if Mo Xiaonian hadn't helped him buy this piece of land, it would have taken a long time to find a suitable green ecological land, which would have delayed his project. The longer a project was delayed, the company's profits would be lost. After signing the contract with Boss Lu and transferring the ownership of the first green ecological building land, Lin Feng went to find Boss Wu, the owner of the second green ecological building land. According to the agreement between him and Boss Wu, Lin Feng would get 4 billion from the 8 billion price. When Boss Wu saw Lin Feng coming over, the smile on his face disappeared. Anyone would feel the same way. After all, he had to give away 4 billion for 8 billion. If it was Lin Feng, and it was irreversible, Lin Feng wouldn't be happy either. However, Boss Wu was a smart man. He knew that if he broke the contract, Lin Feng would be able to make the Qin family bankrupt. If he handed over 4 billion now, he might be able to get some good things in the future. Thinking of this, Boss Wu straightforwardly said, Boss Lin, I just completed the transaction with their staff. There are 6 billion in this card, and the other 2 billion is just a small gift from me. If there is such a thing in the future, I hope Boss Lin can help me more. Lin Feng looked at Boss Wang in surprise. He didn't know what prompted Boss Wang to do such a thing. Originally, they had agreed to split the money in half, which was 4 billion. This guy was quite self-aware and gave half of his 4 billion to Lin Feng. 2 billion was not a small amount for anyone, especially for a stingy person like Boss Wang. He was actually willing to give 2 billion to Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng didn't feel embarrassed about such a gift. He accepted it as a matter of course. Secretary Li and Bamboo Pole were very surprised that Lin Feng could increase the profit of this event by so much. For a businessman, earning 8 billion before the project started was simply a legend. When Lin Feng returned to Yiqing Resort that night, Mo Xiaoyan gave him a hug as soon as he entered the door. Someone earned a lot today. Is there a bonus? Humph, I don't know how long it will take for me to pay back all my shares. Lin Feng carried Mo Xiaoyan to the rocking chair outside. How was your stock market profit today? I heard that some of the directors in the company were frowning recently. After asking them the reason, I found out that they had lost money. They said that the stock market has been turbulent recently. That's because they are stupid. Mo Xiaoyan rolled her eyes. Although it is easy to make money in the stock market, you will always be trapped. Many people can't avoid being trapped, so they often lose everything in the stock market. Have you ever seen them frowning? Have you forgotten that when the stock market was turbulent and you suffered losses? Lin Feng pinched Mo Xiaoyan's little nose. He still remembered that when he had just moved in, Mo Xiaoyan had argued with him for a few days because of a turbulent story. At that time, Lin Feng had no idea why Mo Xiaoyan had argued with him. Mo Tianqing had told him later that if the stock market was turbulent, he shouldn't provoke Mo Xiaoyan. Otherwise, the consequences would be severe. However, Lin Feng saw that Mo Xiaoyan's face was beginning to twitch. This was a sign that Mo Xiaoyan was about to get angry. Lin Feng, who had already known Mo Xiaoyan's temper, quickly said, Hey, baby, don't get agitated. What do you want to eat tonight? No matter what you want to eat, I will make it for you. I want to eat you. Mo Xiaoyan said fiercely. Lin Feng smiled evilly and carried Mo Xiaoyan to the bedroom. Hey, you want to eat me? If you want to eat me, you should have said so earlier. I will let you eat me now, okay? Bastard, put me down, you bad guy. Mo Xiaoyan exclaimed. You bad guy, I am on my period today. You can't do this. It's okay. It's okay to run a red light once in a while. Lin Feng smiled evilly and threw Mo Xiaoyan on the soft bed. Hey, before dinner, you are the appetizer. The next day, Lin Feng came to the company with a smile. The project manager of the Green Ecological Project team was already waiting for Lin Feng in the conference room. Lin Feng gave them the blueprint and information of the first green ecological land that he had traded with Mr. Lu the day before. He asked them to start the construction as soon as possible. Chapter 1443. Just as the host was looking at the bald middle-aged man expectantly, hoping that he would raise the price to 550 million, the bald middle-aged man suddenly raised his hand and said something that stunned the host. XNB. I give up. As soon as he said that, the whole audience went into an uproar. No one knew why he gave up. If he just wanted to set the price, he obviously didn't have to say that. That would definitely bring him revenge. Lin Feng was slightly stunned. Could it be that he had encountered the same kind of high price as before? Give up. Although the host was disappointed, he still said in the spirit of professionalism, it's every auction owner's right to give up. Now, 510 million going once, 510 million going twice. The host deliberately paused for a moment, but still, no one raised the price, so he could only make the final decision. 510 million, sold. The final winner is Mr. Lin, Chairman Lin of Jianfang Real Estate Company. Congratulations to him. The audience applauded warmly. Although this auction item wasn't the most expensive one in the whole auction, Lin Feng deserved to be respected as the finale item. The reason was very simple. It was the rule of the auction. The winner of the finale item deserved to be applauded like this. Congratulations, Chairman Lin. But I didn't see you interested in bronze before. Bamboo Pole didn't say anything, but Secretary Li was a little curious. During this period, he stayed by Lin Feng's side almost every day, so he knew that Lin Feng liked antiques. However, the antiques that Lin Feng had submitted before were all small ones, and he had never touched a bronze one before. Lin Feng smiled. I'm just curious. I've never touched a bronze item before. If this sword is real, then it's worth this price. I even got a big bargain. Let's go. After the auction is over, we'll sign the contract. We still have 4 billion left, haha. Because all the transactions were done backstage, Lin Feng went backstage after the auction was over. The person in charge of this auction was a manager of the Tianqi Auction Company. When Lin Feng signed the contract, he told him that he wanted to meet the boss of the Tianqi Auction Company to discuss cooperation. Lin Feng thought that the manager would agree. After all, if a small auction company could cooperate with a big company, it would be a great help to their project. However, Lin Feng didn't expect that the manager would politely reject him. Lin Feng didn't insist, but when he heard Mo Tianqing say that the boss of the Tianqi Auction Company was comparable to him, he couldn't help but feel a little uncomfortable. After all, he had cheated by using the hand of seizing. Naturally, he was much better than others. However, if there was someone comparable to him, what was the use of the hand of seizing? This reminded Lin Feng of Shui Qinghan at the treasure appraisal competition. She was the only person he admired. Unfortunately, Shui Qinghan wasn't an ordinary person. If he could find Shui Qinghan, Lin Feng believed that he could persuade her to tell him about people like him. Chairman Lin, our boss is a little eccentric. Ever since he opened the studio, he rarely shows his face in public. I'm almost always in charge of business cooperation and negotiations. So, if there's anything that's not satisfactory, please forgive us, Chairman Lin. After the manager of the Tianqi Auction Company stamped the contract, he handed the bronze sword to Lin Feng. And this bronze sword, our boss said that no matter how much it costs, only the fated person can get it. It seems that Chairman Lin is the fated person. Congratulations, Chairman Lin. Of course, Lin Feng didn't take this to heart. This was a skill of being a businessman, especially in the antique business. The cost of an antique was just a little bit, so it wouldn't attract many people, but why could it be sold at such a high price? Wasn't it because of interest? Was it because of faith? Because of history? Therefore, in Lin Feng's eyes, this nonsense about the fated person was just a marketing tactic. If the manager didn't tell him this, how could he feel good after spending so much money to buy a sword? However, in the antique industry, one couldn't complain about the high price. After all, this kind of thing had always been a matter of willingness. After getting the bronze sword wrapped in wooden packaging, Lin Feng walked out of the backstage. At this time, Boss Lu had also signed the contract. He came over with a smile and said apologetically, Chairman Lin, I'm sorry. I received a call from Chairman Mo at the last minute. She asked me to buy this land, saying that you need it. Because the auction has already started, I didn't have time to inform you, so I bought it directly. Let's find a place to transfer the contract. Lin Feng nodded. It seemed that Mo Xiaoyan was really good at messing with him. However, he had to admit that although Mo Xiaoyan had been staying at home all this time, she had helped him a lot at home. For example, this time, if Mo Xiaoyan hadn't helped him buy this land, it would have taken a long time to find a suitable green ecological land, which would have delayed his project. The longer a project was delayed, the company's profits would be lost. After signing the contract with Boss Lu and transferring the ownership of the first green ecological building land, Lin Feng went to find Boss Wu, the owner of the second green ecological building land. According to the agreement between him and Boss Wu, Lin Feng would get 4 billion from the 8 billion price. When Boss Wu saw Lin Feng coming over, the smile on his face disappeared. Anyone would feel the same way. After all, he had to give away 4 billion for 8 billion. If it was Lin Feng, and it was irreversible, Lin Feng wouldn't be happy either. However, Boss Wu was a smart man. He knew that if he broke the contract, Lin Feng would be able to make the Qin family bankrupt. If he handed over 4 billion now, he might be able to get some good things in the future. Thinking of this, Boss Wu straightforwardly said, "Boss Lin, I just completed the transaction with their staff. There are 6 billion in this card, and the other 2 billion is just a small gift from me. If there is such a thing in the future, I hope Boss Lin can help me more." Lin Feng looked at Boss Wang in surprise. He didn't know what prompted Boss Wang to do such a thing. Originally, they had agreed to split the money in half, which was 4 billion. This guy was quite self-aware and gave half of his 4 billion to Lin Feng. 2 billion was not a small amount for anyone, especially for a stingy person like Boss Wang. He was actually willing to give 2 billion to Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng wasn't shy about such a gift. He accepted it as a matter of course. Secretary Li and Bamboo Pole were very surprised that Lin Feng could increase the profit of this event by so much. For a businessman, earning 8 billion before the project started was simply a legend. When Lin Feng returned to Yiqing Resort that night, Mo Xiaoyan gave him a hug as soon as he entered the door. "Someone earned a lot today. Is there a bonus?" "Humph, I don't know how long it will take for me to pay back all the shares." Lin Feng carried Mo Xiaoyan to the rocking chair outside. "How was your stock market profit today? I heard that some of the directors in the company were frowning recently. After asking them the reason, I found out that they had lost money. They said that the stock market has been turbulent recently. That's because they are stupid." Mo Xiaoyan rolled her eyes. "Although it is easy to make money in the stock market, you will always be trapped. Many people can't avoid being trapped, so they often lose everything in the stock market. Have you ever seen them frowning? Have you forgotten that when the stock market was turbulent and you suffered losses?" Lin Feng pinched Mo Xiaoyan's little nose. He still remembered that when he had just moved in, Mo Xiaoyan had argued with him for a few days because of a turbulent story. At that time, Lin Feng had no idea why Mo Xiaoyan had argued with him. Mo Tianxing had told him later that if the stock market was turbulent, he shouldn't provoke Mo Xiaoyan. Otherwise, the consequences would be severe. However, as soon as he said that, Lin Feng saw Mo Xiaoyan's face begin to twitch. This was a sign that Mo Xiaoyan was about to get angry. Lin Feng, who had already known Mo Xiaoyan's temper, quickly said, Hey, baby, don't get agitated. What do you want to eat tonight?" "No matter what you want to eat, I will make it for you." "I want to eat you," Mo Xiaoyan said fiercely. Lin Feng smiled evilly and carried Mo Xiaoyan to the bedroom. "Hey, you want to eat me? If you want to eat me, you should have said so earlier. I will let you eat me now, okay? Bastard, put me down, you bad guy." Mo Xiaoyan exclaimed. "You bad guy, I am on my period today. You can't do this. It's okay. It's okay to run a red light once in a while." Lin Feng smiled evilly and threw Mo Xiaoyan on the soft bed. "Hey, before dinner, you are the appetizer." The next day, Lin Feng came to the company with a smile. The project manager of the Green Ecology project team was already waiting for Lin Feng in the conference room. Lin Feng gave them the blueprint and information of the first green ecological land that he had traded with Mr. Lu the day before. He asked them to start the construction as soon as possible. Chapter 1445. After Evil Soldier gave the order, the Evil Soldier Legion moved to the front of the battlefield. After breaking into the Black-Yellow Great World, Evil Soldier also wanted to use the fast tactics. He also knew that the longer the time passed, the more prepared the Black-Yellow Great World would be. However, the facts did not allow him to do so. He had to stabilize the rear first. The cultivators of the Cuddlebugs in the Devil Blood realm still had to release the Devil Blood evil bugs. Therefore, the fast tactics could not be used. As soon as the Evil Soldier Legion moved, the Xuanhuan Great World's allied forces quickly met the enemy. The Lords of Heaven's camp also moved. Knight Sorrow stood on the back of Ice Kylan and went to the front of the battlefield. At the moment, the Evil Soldier Legion also came to the edge of the dark energy and confronted the allied forces. The Evil Soldier Legion was very strong and its structure was different from that of a normal legion. It had 20 troops, which was not much weaker than the allied forces. Moreover, there were many Lords of Heaven, 12 of them. The Evil Soldier Legion was led by a Lord of Heaven and had 2 guards at the Lord of Heaven realm. In the last confrontation, Evil Soldier did not fight. Half of the legion moved forward while the other half stabilized the rear. Therefore, although the Xuanhuan Great World's legion was defeated, it did not suffer a great loss. This time, after the rear was stabilized, Evil Soldier led all his men to fight. With the arrival of Evil Soldier, the Evil Soldier Legion separated. An evil soldier riding a wolf appeared. Our numbers have increased a lot. It's meaningless to have more ants. In a word, do you surrender or not? I'll kill you until you do. If you don't, I'll kill you all. Evil Soldier pointed his saber at the ground and said. Tang Jianfeng stood out and said, evil can't win over righteousness. There is still righteousness in this vast world. You want to run amok? Not enough. Righteousness also depends on the size of the fist. Are your fists big enough? You can't even defeat the sovereigns under my command. What's the use of fists? Evil Soldier snorted. You're too arrogant. Come out and fight. Lord of Heaven Shen, who was irritated by Evil Soldier's arrogant words. You're just a garbage sky-devouring tiger. Come out and I'll skin you. Evil Soldier waved his saber and said. Before anyone could stop him, Lord of Heaven Shen Hu flew out and chopped at Evil Soldier with his saber. Evil Soldier shook his body and flew toward Lord of Heaven Shen Hu. When they were more than 100 feet away, Evil Soldier had a special aura. Everyone could feel an energy wrapped around the great way of heaven to suppress Lord of Heaven Shen Hu. Then, the Evil Soldier rushed up and slashed at him. Being suppressed by this aura, Heaven Lord Shen Hu's aura dissipated, and his strength dropped by more than 30%. As the two's battle blades clashed, there was a loud explosion. Heaven Lord Shen Hu was sent flying by Xia Bing's blade and was sent flying far away. Immediately after, Xia Bing rushed up and slashed down with his battle blade. Being suppressed by Xia Bing's heavenly Tao, Heaven Lord Shen Hu was in a bad state. His own strength was greatly suppressed. He was already weaker than Xia Bing to begin with, and now he was even weaker. There was no way he could fight back, not even a little bit. This won't do. The Sea Monarch's expression was solemn because everyone could see that Lord Shen Hu was not capable of this. The situation was very serious. Lord of Heaven God who had an illustrious reputation in the divine martial great world. Although Bai Taiching's mishap had occurred, no one could deny his strength. He was one of the top cultivators among the Lord of Heaven. After pondering for a moment, the Sea King Manor's Lord also made his move. Together with Lord Shen Hu, they fought against the evil soldiers. However, the result did not change much. As long as Xia Bing's aura was suppressed, he could easily send Heaven Lord Shen Hu and the Sea King Manor's Lord flying with a casual blow. I'll go and help. You guys start fighting. We Heaven Lords have the upper hand. If we can kill, we'll kill, Tang Jianfeng shouted and joined the battle. The three of them worked together to fight against Xia Bing. You guys are not convinced today. No matter how many come, I'll kill them all. Xia Bing's attack became more violent. Unable to resist, Heaven Lord Shen Hu and the Sea King Manor's Lord sent out their doppelgangers to restrain Xia Bing's attack. When Tang Jianfeng shouted for everyone to start fighting, the group battle began. The evil soldier army had 12 Heaven Lords, but the allied forces were not weak either. Originally, the Black-Yellow Great World had more than 10 Heaven Lords. Now that the Shenwu Great World and the Black-Yellow Great World had come to help, they had the advantage in terms of numbers. Tang Jianfeng did not ask Knight Sorrow to join the battle. Therefore, Knight Sorrow could not fight against Xia Bing directly. Now that the battle had begun, Night Sorrow charged toward a Heaven Lord. It was a fierce battle. Datura and Sandalwood both attacked a Heaven Lord. Sandalwood and Datura were the top experts among the Heaven Lords in the Black-Yellow Great World. Only Heaven Lord Yuandao and Qing Emperor could compete with them. The Mandela surrounded a Heaven Monarch while the Sandalwood attacked violently, clashing fiercely with the opponent. Sandalwood had never cultivated a doppelganger before. She wanted her original body to achieve something. After entering the Heaven Lord realm, Night Sorrow and the others persuaded her to cultivate a doppelganger. However, it would take a long time for her to succeed. It was a fierce battle. People were dying all the time. After all, the Allied forces' legions were not as good as the 9 Heaven Legions in teamwork and defense. The Heaven Lords fighting Night Sorrow were attacking fiercely. However, they were useless against Night Sorrow. All the members of the Evil Soldier Legion had strong bodies and were good at close combat. Night Sorrow was also good at close combat. The battle was fierce. After a while, Night Sorrow's doppelganger left his original body and performed a unique skill with him. Night Sorrow's original body performed the Great Emperor Samsara Slash while his doppelganger performed the Great Death Slash. Together, they charged toward the armored opponent. As the Great Death Slash's colored and purple halos shrouded the armored opponent, Night Sorrow's body froze. He fell into a daze. Obviously, he was not good at soul defense. The moment the opponent fell into a daze, Night Sorrow's Samsara and Space Splitter attacked the opponent's body at the same time. The energy in the two swords exploded instantly. The special energy in the Samsara even attacked the armored man's spiritual sea. Night Sorrow's original body rushed forward. His right hand kept shaking the Samsara. The void energy exploded in the opponent's body, making him lose the ability to resist. While the original body controlled and continued to damage the opponent, Night Sorrow's doppelganger pulled out the Space Splitter and performed the Void Extreme Kill. It pierced through the back of the armored man's head. Penetrated through. Even though the armored man's cultivation was high and his body was strong, he could not block Night Sorrow's Void Extreme Kill. After being penetrated by Night Sorrow's doppelganger Space Splitter, his spiritual sea and infant soul were also shattered. There was no chance of survival. N3G Network Premier Night Sorrow was worried that the opponent's body was strong and had reached the Undying Realm. After killing him, he swung his arm and put the corpse into his storage ring. A Heaven Lord had fallen. The first Heaven Lord had fallen since the start of this realm war. Since you've come to our server, I'll kill all of you first. Yi Shang charged towards another heavenly monarch. Chapter 1446. Some of the Heaven Lords of the Black-Yellow Great World's allied army knew how to use soul attacks. However, their bodies were not strong enough, so they would be pushed back as soon as they exchanged blows. Even if they used soul attacks, the distance was not enough. After using soul attacks, they would rush forward again, and the enemy would realize it. Thus, they would not be able to kill or even seriously injure the enemy. But now, this rule was broken by Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's body was strong, and he used 2 unique skills at the same time. Therefore, he killed the enemy. It's you, not a Heaven Lord. You defeated a Heaven Lord. Xia Bing knew who Night Sorrow was. Before the battle, he did not notice Night Sorrow, mainly because Night Sorrow did not release his fighting intent. Now that Night Sorrow killed one of his generals, he understood. Stop him and let Night Sorrow increase his victory. Tang Jianfeng shouted. At this time, his doppelganger was severely injured, but it was still worth it to kill a Heaven Lord from the Evil Soldier army. At this time, Night Sorrow took down a relatively weak Heaven Lord from the Black-Yellow Great World, and then he attacked violently. His willpower, laws, and body were not inferior. In fact, they were even stronger. These advantages were enough to make up for Night Sorrow's lack of energy. Night Sorrow was suppressing this Heaven Monarch from the Evil Soldier Legion. The only YB, the other 9 are GT is a pirated version. In just a moment, this Heaven Lord was killed by Night Sorrow's original body and doppelganger using their unique skills at the same time. After the death of two Heaven Lords, Xia Bing became anxious. He was besieged by Tang Jianfeng, Heaven Lord Shenhu, and the Sea King Mansion's master. Although he could injure his opponents, he could not kill them. However, if this went on, his Heaven Lords would not be able to hold on. Retreat into the Devil Blood Qi. Xia Bing shouted. He could not afford to lose a Heaven Lord general. The army of evil soldiers retreated, and Tang Jianfeng also gave the order to stop the pursuit. After entering the Devil Blood Qi, the combat power of the cultivators of the Xianhuang Ocean World's allied army would decrease, and they would be easily killed. Just as Tang Jianfeng shouted, the evil weapon suddenly erupted. Its imposing aura rushed towards the avatar of the Sea King Prefecture. Then, its body flickered and the saber in its hand slashed continuously, blocking Tang Jianfeng and Lord of Heaven God Hu. The saber went straight for the neck of the avatar. As the saber light vibrated, the head of the avatar was shattered. Fall from grace. After killing the avatar of the Sea King Prefecture's master, Xia Bing's body flickered and left the battle. At this time, everyone in the evil soldier legion, including the Lord of Heaven, had retreated. If he did not retreat, he would be besieged. After the evil soldiers retreated, Datura came to Night Sorrow's side. Are you okay? It's all right. The result is still acceptable. I killed two Heaven Monarchs. Night Sorrow said. He was quite conflicted. If the avatar of the Sea King Prefecture's master had not been killed, then today's victory would have been theirs. Now, it could only be said that they had gained a slight advantage. After the army of evil soldiers retreated, the allied army of the Xianhuang Great World naturally returned to their original positions to defend. Night Sorrow and the others also returned to the command tent. Seeing Night Sorrow's arrival, all the Heaven Monarchs cupped their hands to greet Night Sorrow. This is not a good situation. We can't resist that guy. His combat power is too strong. The energy contained in his body surpasses ours. Coupled with the special heavenly Tao's imposing aura, we are no match for him at all, Lord of Heaven God Hu said. Valley Lord Hai, this time it's my fault for not commanding properly. I caused you to lose one of your avatars. Tang Jianfeng said. He knew that there was a mistake in the allocation of personnel. If Night Sorrow had been assigned to resist the evil soldiers, perhaps things would not have turned out this way. City Lord, you think too much. This time it's our gain to kill two Heaven Monarchs. Not bad. The Sea King Prefecture's master gave Night Sorrow a thumbs up. Night Sorrow, you have seen the situation. The next time this guy appears, you will have to take action. We really can't resist it, Tang Jianfeng said. There was nothing he could do. The three of them, including their avatars, did not gain the upper hand in the battle against the evil soldiers. One of the avatars of the Sea King Prefecture's master was even killed. Okay, everything will be arranged by the City Lord. Night Sorrow nodded. He originally wanted to fight the evil soldiers today, but Tang Jianfeng did not make any arrangements. After that, Night Sorrow, Datura, and Sandalwood returned to Night Sorrow's tent. This group of guys is really strong. It's hard to deal with them, Sandalwood said. She had the upper hand in the battle, but she could not kill them. These demons are completely different from the demons of the Dark Abyss. The demons of the Dark Abyss are not as evil as them, and their bodies are not as tough, Datura said. If we can hold on, it will be a war of attrition. We have to be prepared for that, Night Sorrow said. As he said this, Night Sorrow probed his divine sea to check on Shao Kong's situation. Without the space-time pagoda, he could not speed up. Some things that required time could only be put aside for Night Sorrow. For example, refining the soul cultivation liquid took a long time. After probing, Night Sorrow found that the space-time pagoda, which was the Haotian godly pagoda, was still self-repairing. The energy light at the connection between the space-time pagoda and the immortal pavilion of creation was getting weaker and weaker. When it completely disappeared, the repair was complete. After Night Sorrow killed the 2 Lords of Heaven, he also gained merit from the Black-Yellow Great World. However, he was still a bit away from becoming a Merit Supreme Saint. Night Sorrow, it's not easy to kill a Lord of Heaven opponent. Today, you completed a double kill. Now, everyone in our 3 great worlds knows about it, Datura said. What she wanted most was to see her husband become famous. Yishang smiled. He was very happy in his heart as well. To be able to kill a heaven monarch as a martial monarch with the cultivation of a martial monarch was an achievement that no one had ever achieved before. At this moment, Night Sorrow was happy. However, Evil Soldier was furious. This was because he had lost 2 Lords of Heaven in this battle. He only had 12 Lords of Heaven under his command. Lord, what's the situation with that guy? Isn't he just a monarch? Shattered Moon, who was wearing armor, asked. He is a monarch who has cultivated the battle intent. Most importantly, he is a supreme attribute cultivator. Therefore, you have no chance of winning against him, Evil Soldier said. Shattered Moon nodded. Evil Soldier's words made sense. He understood after thinking for a while. Besides, he had seen Night Sorrow's strength. Only by killing him can we advance smoothly, Evil Soldier said. Then, he arranged for someone to count the losses of the army. Night Sorrow also went to the 9 Heavens army to take a look. The 9 Heavens army had suffered some losses, but it was not serious. More than 20 soldiers had died, but they had killed more enemies. The next few days were very peaceful, which surprised Night Sorrow. He wanted to fight now. As long as he killed a few more Lords of Heaven from the Devil Blood domain, his merit would increase and he would become a Merit Supreme Saint. It was not that Evil Soldier did not want to fight. However, this time, the Evil Soldier army had suffered a great loss. They had to rest before they could continue fighting. Chapter 1447. When the doppelganger was slain and its soul was annihilated, it was a heavy blow to the soul of the main body. Night Sorrow gave the Sea King Prefecture's governor a spirit replenishing pill that could heal the soul to the greatest extent. The Sea King Prefecture's governor expressed his gratitude for Night Sorrow's gift of the pill. Yishang, this isn't the first time I've owed you a favor. If there's a chance, I'll return it all. The blonde sea monarch picked up the wine pot in front of him and poured a cup for Yishang. Gee. Cool 3 songs / hair, Lord Prefecture's governor is too courteous. Everyone is working hard for the realm war. If you can contribute, we'll do our best, Night Sorrow said. He was originally worried that the Sea King Prefecture's governor would be affected by the death of his doppelganger. Now, it seemed that there was no problem. If everyone has the same idea, we won't have to worry about winning the realm war. Perhaps such a realm war will be a good thing for our 3 world groups. We'll be able to get along more harmoniously. The Sea King Prefecture's governor smiled. Night Sorrow nodded. With external pressure, our 3 world groups' cultivation will be more harmonious and motivated. It'll be fine as long as the crisis at hand is resolved. At this time, Tang Jianfeng and Lord Shen Hu also came to the Sea King Prefecture's governor. Everyone was casually chatting. The main reason for my doppelganger's death was that I couldn't resist the suppression of the heavenly Tao by the evil demon commander. This is the difference between us heavenly monarch realm cultivators and half-step imperial realm cultivators. The Sea King Prefecture's governor summarized the root cause of his loss. I've heard that in order to enter the 9th rank, one must have an understanding of the Force. However, we can't do it. The cultivation techniques we cultivate can only reach the heavenly monarch realm. Energy cultivation is secondary. The advancement of this realm is the most difficult problem, Tang Jianfeng said. Understanding is hard to come by. Do you have any good ideas for the next battle, City Lord Tang? Lord Shen Hu looked at Tang Jianfeng. Tang Jianfeng turned to look at Night Sorrow. Next time, Night Sorrow, try to see if you can hold on. If you can, then the rest of us can fight without any worries. If you can't, then we'll continue to use today's strategy. We'll continue to send people to surround and kill the demon commander while you go kill the other generals and expand our gains. Sure. Night Sorrow nodded. You don't have to feel pressured. It's fine even if you can't hold on. You have already eliminated 2 heaven monarchs, and your killing speed is much faster than that evil devil commander. We will take turns to besiege the evil devil commander. Even if we have to sacrifice our lives, we will be able to wipe out all their evil devil commanders. Lord of Heaven Shenhu said. His words revealed his violent character. Not everyone had the courage to exchange a life for a life. Haha, that's the plan. The Wuling Mountain Master also came to the tent of the Sea King Prefecture Master. In the next battle, Night Sorrow and I will deal with the demon commander. Killing power is not my strong suit, but I have no problem tanking it. We were too careless this time. We didn't notice that he would be ruthless at the end of the battle, so we didn't have time to help. Sea King, he will pay the price, the Wuling Mountain Master said as he entered the tent. The Sea King Prefecture Master was the Grand Elder of the Xianhuang City, and the Wuling Mountain Master was the Elder of Law Enforcement. The 2 of them had a close relationship, so the Wuling Mountain Master was very angry when the Sea King Prefecture Master's doppelganger was destroyed. Okay, it's decided. Wuling, you cooperate with Night Sorrow next time and try to block that guy. Shenhu, we will ask the Dark Dominator to kill one of them together. It's better to cut off an arm than to injure 10 fingers, Tang Jianfeng said. After the tactical arrangement was decided, Night Sorrow left after chatting with everyone for a while. He just had to do his own thing. As for whether he could stop the evil soldiers, Night Sorrow didn't know. It mainly depended on whether his golden body of merits could ignore the suppression of the heavenly Tao by the evil devil commander after he activated it. If he could, then it would be no problem. He could hold on and fight. If he couldn't, then he would have to use the second tactic mentioned by Tang Jianfeng. Night Sorrow returned to his tent and talked with Datura and Sandalwood about Tang Jianfeng and the others' tactical ideas. This is the right tactic. It mainly depends on whether you can stop the evil devil commander. If you can, then the situation is very optimistic. If you can't, then you can only risk your life and fight to the death, Datura said. Junior brother, you have to be careful. This is not your battle alone. Just do your best, Sandalwood said. Night Sorrow, my original body will come as well. The situation is not very optimistic. We have to do our best, Datura looked at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow was a bit reluctant. If something happened to the original body, then it would be a big problem. Seeing Night Sorrow's concern, Datura smiled and said, I am the Dark Dominator, not an ordinary weak woman. Besides, if there is a risk, let the doppelganger bear it. Since Datura said so, Night Sorrow could only nod and agree. The situation was still very stable. Evil Soldier also had to think about how to solve the current situation. When he attacked, the Heaven Monarchs of the Black-Yellow Great World would join forces to restrain him. His Heaven Monarchs could not stop Night Sorrow's attacks. Stalemate. The war had entered a stalemate. For both sides, the war was difficult. Therefore, no one rushed to attack. Datura's original body arrived. The Qing Emperor's doppelganger and Yufei also came to the battlefield. The Red Emperor and Sima Tiancheng also arrived. Tang Jianfeng and the Wuling Mountain Master also expressed their gratitude. At present, one side was facing difficulties from all sides. Tang Jianfeng also told everyone about the current situation and difficulties. The key point was whether Night Sorrow could stop the evil devil commander. Night Sorrow did not participate in the discussion. He just watched the commanders of the 9 Heaven Troop and the Demon Blood Troop cultivate the combined attack formation every day. Datura, Sandalwood, Misty Rain and the other Heaven Monarchs of the world of Samsara also cultivated the combined attack formation. This was proposed by Night Sorrow. The main reason was to increase their survivability. Night Sorrow was worried about the future. At present, the crisis had been revealed. No one knew about the unknown danger. No one knew what kind of strength the enemy would have in the future. People had to be aware of the danger. Everyone supported Knight Sorrow's proposal because it was a good thing. The atmosphere of killing pervaded the battlefield. However, everyone was not as stressed as before because the Allied forces were much stronger than before. Feeling that the enemy would not make a move easily, Knight Sorrow started to strengthen his body with the White Tiger Essence blood. The soul and the body were the two foundations of a cultivator. Knight Sorrow's soul defense was almost unbreakable. The Supreme Origin bead could protect his soul from any harm. What he pursued now was to continue to strengthen his body. After using Knight Sorrow's spirit refilling elixir, the Sea King Prefecture Master had almost recovered. Tang Jianfeng and Lord of Heaven Shenhu's doppelganger had also recovered. Everyone was waiting for the second battle. Chapter 1448. This is fate. Perhaps this is the only way to conform to the rules of the heavenly Tao. Only when there is pressure can there be motivation. Always having a sense of crisis is also the motivation to rise, Qing Emperor said. I envy you. The two of us rose from obscurity. Let's not talk about our own level, but when it comes to taking in disciples, I'm far behind you, Tang Jianfeng said. This is also fate. I almost died some time ago. You know that, Qing Emperor said with a smile. Tang Jianfeng nodded. Fate was the most elusive thing. Tang Jianfeng knew that the Qing Emperor had been injured by the celestial sect and had almost died. But now, he had improved his cultivation again. Inside the commander's tent in the Devil Blood Chi, Evil Bing could not wait any longer. The current situation was very unfavorable for him. The reinforcements from the black-yellow great world kept coming. More and more lords of heaven were coming. He knew they were the reinforcements from the other two world groups. Your Honor, we have to act as soon as possible. If this continues, their defense will become tighter and tighter. Shattered Moon was somewhat unable to remain calm. Okay, get ready and continue the battle. Also, send someone back to inform Lai Bingzun to come over as soon as he comes out of seclusion. We will crush them directly. Out of habit, Evil Soldier held his saber in his right hand and thought about it. Magic Dragon, the ruler of the demonic blood weave, had two disciples, Demonic Blade Xia Bing and Sky Blade Lai Bing. Both of them were half-step emperors. Currently, Sky Blade Lai Bing was still in seclusion, so Xia Bing was in charge of conquering the Chaos Realm. Knight Sorrow was still cultivating. The blood of the White Tiger was powerful. It kept corroding Knight Sorrow's flesh and bones. Even though he was a monarch, Knight Sorrow was still in great pain. Knight Sorrow had not sweated for many years, but now, sweat was dripping down his cheeks. Datura, who was also in the tent, was worried and distressed. She knew very well what Knight Sorrow was cultivating. Knight Sorrow's situation was different from Qing Emperor's. The Qing Emperor's body had the evil dragon's venomous centipede and White Tiger's blood, so he could counteract the effects of the evil dragon's venomous centipede. F Yong 8 Jojo, Phi, I look at C little 3 say I. However, Knight Sorrow was different. He relied entirely on his physical body to resist. He absorbed the energy of the White Tiger's blood essence to strengthen his half-energized physical body. Knight Sorrow cultivated while Datura accompanied him inside the tent. Sandalwood sat outside the tent with her saber in her arms. At this moment, no one could disturb Knight Sorrow. The process was very painful, but Knight Sorrow felt that absorbing the White Tiger's blood essence was very beneficial to his body. After cultivating for 4 days, Knight Sorrow woke up from his meditative state. How is it? Datura asked Knight Sorrow. The effect is very good. My body's strength has increased by quite a bit. I will slowly study it when I have time. I will go take a bath and change my clothes first. Knight Sorrow flew out of the tent and found a water source to take a bath before returning to the tent. Let's fight. I want to see how powerful a practitioner who is half a step away from the Imperial realm is. Night Sorrow wanted to know the gap between him and the evil demon commander. As Night Sorrow wished, on the third day after Night Sorrow finished his cultivation, Xia Bing led his evil army to fight again. The evil army in the demonic blood chi was very imposing. Similarly, the killing aura between heaven and earth was also very strong. Riding on a demonic wolf, Xia Bing waved the saber in his hand, pointed at the allied army of the black-yellow great world and roared, "Didn't you fight a group battle last time? Today, I will play with you again. Get out here." Xia Bing planned to destroy the momentum of the allied army of the black-yellow great world first. He wanted to kill one or two people quickly. For this plan, he activated his protective armor. He wanted to kill one or two lords of heaven of the allied army of the black-yellow great world regardless of his defense. He believed in his defensive power. With the armor, he did not need to worry about being hit by one or two attacks. At this moment, Xia Bing's momentum was very strong because no one here was a match for him. He had the right to be arrogant. Tang Jianfeng and the others all looked at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow smiled and rode the ice Qilin out of the camp of the allied army of the black-yellow great world. A practitioner who is half a step away from becoming a monarch. Let me try. Xia Bing knew that Night Sorrow was the key figure, but he still slandered him. Is there no one else in the allied army? Why did they send you here? Night Sorrow looked at Xia Bing and said, "You're wrong. I said I'm a weakling because our allied army doesn't need a real master. Maybe I can do it as a monarch. Why can't you afford to play with me?" At this moment, Night Sorrow was very relaxed. He had confidence in himself. Even if he could not withstand it, it was impossible for Xia Bing to kill him. At this moment, he was wearing the 9 heavy armors. In addition to his strong physical defense, ordinary injuries were ineffective. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. I'll kill anyone who stands in my way. Xia Bing soared into the sky and pounced on Night Sorrow with the momentum of the way of the heavens. He was like an eagle soaring into the sky. Night Sorrow's feet shook and his body also soared into the sky. When Xia Bing's momentum of the way of the heavens swept over, Night Sorrow's fighting spirit burst out and resisted the pressure of the momentum of the way of the heavens. Not enough. Night Sorrow found that his fighting spirit had been fully released, but only a part of the suppression was offset. Half of it was still pressing toward him. Merit's immortal body. Night Sorrow operated the power of time in his body and activated the Merit's immortal body. A gray energy shield appeared, followed by a golden light. The pressure of the momentum of the way of the heavens was directly blocked and could not get close to him. Releasing his fighting spirit and activating the Merit's immortal body, Night Sorrow completely blocked the momentum of the way of the heavens released by Xia Bing. At this moment, Xia Bing's saber had also arrived in front of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's right hand shook and the samsara slashed out against Xia Bing's saber. With a loud explosion, Night Sorrow's body flew backward. Similarly, Xia Bing's body was also pushed back. With one move, although Night Sorrow was pushed back, so was Xia Bing. This showed that Night Sorrow was indeed at a disadvantage, but it was not a situation where he was crushed. Then, Night Sorrow and Xia Bing flew forward and charged at each other again. Their weapons slashed at each other. With another explosion, the two of them kept retreating. Although Xia Bing was strong and could suppress Night Sorrow, it could only suppress him. It could only send Night Sorrow flying, but it could not injure him. The two of them flipped in the air and energy sputtered in all directions. Night Sorrow did not use his doppelganger. If he had a doppelganger, he would have to consider the defense of two bodies, which would be a big loophole. He's stabilized, someone from the Sea King's palace said. The current situation had made everyone feel more at ease. They had been afraid that Night Sorrow would be defeated in 2 or 3 moves if he went up. Now that Night Sorrow was able to remain undefeated, that was enough. Then what are we waiting for? Kill them all. The hot-tempered Lord of Heaven Shenhu roared and rushed towards Xia Bing's army. Yes, what are we waiting for? Tang Jianfeng also moved. Retreat, all of you retreat. Xia Bing shouted. He was restrained by night's sorrow. In the remaining battle, the Lord of Heaven of Evil army was no match for the Xuanhuan Great World's allied army. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.